TikTok this. I stopped to get it right away.
Yeah,
I could feel it coming on.
it's
Anyways,
not
I think
good
we're
for
live.
you.
Yes, we are live. Welcome. Hello, Dave Mart-el is here. As you can see, the Dave Mart-el, as they say. And look at him. It looks like he's in heaven. He looks like a televangelist. He's glowing.
I was like, I got to roll up with looking clean for the pressure cast.
Clean, he's shining. He's shining like an angel. There's only one God, and Dave Mart-el is his prophet. Actually, you probably don't like that talk. I shouldn't say that. Not considering the theme, but
well, pushing the boundary a little bit. It's all right though.
There's one over God, we'll say. But yeah, looking sharp and white and smoking. It's glad to look. It's amazing. A total juxtaposition, the darkness and the light here. I love it. Excellent. That's excellent.
Hell yeah.
But yeah, so we're here to talk about. Is this a new thing? Yeah, I don't know much about it.
So Hearthfire Radio, right?
Yeah.
So we're gonna yak about Hearthfire Radio a little bit. We're gonna talk about we could talk about the radio format as an art form. I guess we could get into that. We could just let it. Me and you motor mouthing together usually turns into a big monstrosity, anyways. So we'll just go with the flow. Monstrosity in like the best possible way. So
monstrously excellent.
Monstrously excellent. I like that. Okay. So Hearthfire Radio, hearthfireradio.com. So some months back, I'm sure some folks watching will be familiar. I had a show called The Bog. It ran for quite a few years, and eventually we kind of ran out of steam with it. Right? It kind of ran out of stuff.
The Bog. I've never seen the opening. I think you had me on that once, even wasn't I?
You have. Sure. I think. Yeah, you've been on The Bog. I think 2 or 3 times actually.
Oh, was it? Right. Yeah.
Yeah.
So
at
what
least.
Do you mean it ran out of steam? You just kind of. What happened?
We kind of like ran out of steam, and we were like, okay, let's, and also during this time, I sort of started to fall out of love with podcasting and doing radio and stuff. Dude, I've been doing this. I've been doing this a long, long time. I went to school for radio. I was one of the first guys that when I first started, I'll give you guys my story here. This is the origin story of Big Dave getting involved with internet radio, right? So I wanted to do radio when I was, a young guy. I just loved it, right? I loved listening to, Coast to Coast AM. I loved listening to talk radio. I just liked it. I thought it was entertaining. Back then was, in the 90s and going into the 2000s, this was like the height of it. You had not the height. Obviously, there's a golden age before that, but this is when you're like, I know folks don't like this guy, but you can't deny Howard Stern. Like Howard Stern was, popping. You had what's his name? The man with the golden mic, Rush Limbaugh, right? You had all this kind of stuff, and then going into the
Opie and Anthony. Opie and Anthony was a big one, wasn't it?
Of course, Opie and Anthony. Like these guys were like really great with that format, right? And then they were just great to listen to. Everybody's always loved talk. So long story short, I love talk radio. I've also always been a music guy, like just a music connoisseur. I like to procure unique music, and I always wanted to do a combination of. I was like, I want to do like a metal radio station, and then help lift up local bands, and on top of it, do talks and do conspiracy theories. I wanted to do it all, right?
Yeah,
and that was like my idea. And so I went to so that was
that's good. Yeah.
Well, I talk funny. Yeah. That's another thing when so many times like, people are familiar know where I'm from. Right. But so many times, like, where the fuck are you from? What is that accent? It's like, it's Pennsylvania, bud. Like I got PA accent.
Yeah. But with a kind of Italian twist on it. No, a little bit. Yeah.
Maybe. Here's the deal is like I might have picked up some of that because I lived in Jersey for a while with my wife's family, and they're fucking they're real fucking grease balls over here. So like I probably picked it up from them a little bit. But long story short, okay, well, short story long. I go to what's called VOTEC here, Vocational Technology School. It's like school to go. I was such a bad kid in high school. They're like, we're going to kick you out because you don't have enough credits to finish. We're just going to fucking kick you out. You can't graduate. So I was like, my like mom negotiated to let me stay an extra year, and I would go to Votech, and I wouldn't be a problem for them and stuff like that if they let me graduate. So
what were you doing? What were you doing that you were such a problem? You were like,
I had Saturday detentions, and then I didn't show up for the Saturday detention, so they give me more Saturday detentions, and it was like the whole like I had so many detentions stacked up that my 5th year of high school, I called it the super senior year. I was like the first 2 or 3 months I was in school suspension.
And what were you doing? Just talking smart,
fucking being bad, being a clown, and just having fun and being rowdy and breaking stuff. My school had this really ridiculous rule that if you said the F word, they would send you home. So you would get half a day suspension. And if you said it, they would just
that's pretty bad.
Send you home. So I would just if I didn't feel like being in the school, because my mom was a total freaking, she's like, you gotta go to school. I was never allowed to skip. So when I would go, I would just if I didn't feel like going, I'd just raise my hand, like, Dave, I'd be like, fuck. And they're okay, go home. And I just get to go home. One time I pulled up, I get suspended. I had like 3 days suspended for saying the F word. I come back, my principal was there. She's like, good morning, Dave. I'm like, fuck you. And she's like, goodbye, Dave. And I just leave, right?
Why would you do that?
I just didn't want to go to school because I was just like a bad kid. And you know what? My mom, so this was like the first time. Listen to this. This is funny. Okay. So the first time I get suspended for saying the F word, they're calling it the F bomb, right? They say, they called my mom on the speakerphone. Like, they got a little circular speaker contraption. They call my mom, and they're like, Mrs. I don't want to, Mrs. Blah blah blah. Your son is getting suspended. She's like, what for? They're like, he's out here. He's saying he dropped the F bomb, and she goes, what the fuck is the F bomb? Like right in front of the teachers and everybody. I'm like, yo, that's where I get it from, dog. My mom's a freaking potty mouth. So she's like, all right, well, I'm not picking him up. He can walk home. I was like, okay. I lived like 6 miles away from school. So me and my buddies would all get suspended together. And then we would go walk to their house and drink beer and smoke weed and play RPGs on the computer. So yeah. So anyway, back to the story. Okay. So, radio. So 5th year high school, I go to Votech, Vocational Technology. And I go for a program that includes photography, radio, and a bunch of other stuff. And I just went for radio. I almost flunked out of this because I didn't want to do some of this other stuff. But we did audio stuff and radio, blah, blah. And during
you had an idea to be like a shock jock. You were already a fan of Rush Limbaugh or Howard Stern and shit like that. And that's what you wanted to do, was it? Yeah.
Yeah. So
you were singing in metal bands too, right? Were you at that time as well?
I was singing and playing guitar in bands. Yeah. I sang in a cover band.
I never got suspended though. I always kind of gave a fuck about school. I did do bad in my last year for sure. But I don't think I ever got suspended. I wouldn't have been like, fuck you to a teacher. Like that's bold. That's very
very I was bold person. You also gotta keep in mind, I come from a family that a lot of people don't graduate school, and I come from a family.
So they don't care. They're just like, yeah, do what you want. Fuck it,
Yeah, it's all. Yeah, it was in my kind of community and my family. If you didn't end up an out of control alcoholic, a felon, or a junkie, you're doing pretty good. You know what I mean? So it's if you made it that far, you did pretty good, right? I got a cousin. He's got something this isn't even exaggerating. He's got 15 kids to 9 different women. I got some crazy family that are just completely nuts. Half of them are in jail. They're not bad people. They're good people. They're just feral, right? They're just not civilized creatures. Nice. So yeah,
it's mostly on one side, or it can't be on both sides. Probably one side, isn't it?
Yeah, it's one side. Is my mom's side's like that. My dad's side is like my grandfather. Like they all come from coal miners. Like they used to be like that. They used to be like outlaws and stuff. But then they got professionalized. They went to war and they were farmers and engineers and
right, yeah,
straight laced Pennsylvania Dutch Protestant. Like never see them cry. Never see them really get mad. They have no real. They're just very stoic and stern. Discipline. Yeah, they're like
logical. Wait, so how would you react if your kid was carrying on like it, went to school and said "fuck you"? And,
I'd flip out, whip his ass.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, I'll tell you what. Both sides of my family were spankers. Both of my grandfathers, my paternal and maternal grandfather, were like if they paddled your butt, that remains in your memories until the day you die. They were very. Big, strong hands, and you would remember it.
Well, yeah, I kind of remember that too, but I don't consider it a big deal, and I wouldn't be. I'm not like a little mild bit of spanking. I think is fine. In fact, there's not much other way when they're. Is this maybe even illegal to talk about now? Things are so fucking gay.
Yeah,
maybe I shouldn't, but I'm not opposed to it in a sort of civilized, mild way because there's a stage. There's things they do even like there'd be harsh things. And there's a stage they're at a certain age that they really don't understand cognitively any kind of real punishment. You can barely even talk to them, but they'll do harsh things. They're like, punch, like kick their sibling in the face and then run out in the middle of the road. And it's like, okay, you've got to learn.
Yeah.
You're going to learn to do what I say. Or, or they'll die. So
no, I agree. I'm actually a pretty loose dad. Like I'm like, I let him do a lot. I probably spoil him a little bit too much, but in my house, dad's not a guy you mess with. Like, and also kids like this, especially my kids, because they're like me. My wife has a personality similar to mine. She can be very disagreeable and argumentative, especially with her parents. So my kids are all like that, and you gotta let them know. Because they're going to push as far as you let them go to test you.
Yeah, all the time. I don't know how old is your oldest now? Like mine he's turning 14.
My oldest is 9.
Okay, well, wait till you get the teenage stuff. Holy shit. It is fucking harsh. Just like you're talking about pushing back. Like you can't even ask him a question without getting some grumpy at like everything. He's like angry, like fuck you. Like you can't ask him anything. Just total pushback, 100% pushback. I can feel like, which is normal. I remember pushing back when I was a teenager.
Yeah, hell yeah.
I know what to expect it. But no, I didn't want. When I said you got to lay down get the discipline going, you have to have the discipline, and they have to know who's in charge. Like, if I don't like beat the shit out of them or anything, I don't. Jesus Christ, no. I am a pretty loose dad as well, but we did sort of agree that a little bit of spanking would be all right. And I do think it's. I don't know. I don't have a problem with it. We were spanked, and I don't remember it as harshly as you as like a huge deal. I don't remember men with giant mitts. Like, although my dad was always a little guy, I was pretty much stronger than him since I was 12. I think. Yeah. I remember the first time I beat him arm wrestling. I think I was 12, and then I beat him at chess like shortly after. It just total fucking smackdown. He was absolutely. What could the guy do after that? And he was a smart guy. He was just not good at chess.
Yeah. Yeah, I'm like twice my dad's size.
In my family, he was his side of the family are very smart, incredibly intelligent, but they also had the extreme fuck ups like the ones you're talking about.
Mm-hmm. Big time.
Whatever.
I think it correlates smart people because my mom's side of the family they're all very creative. Yeah, when my mom's family came over from the boot, they were like wedding singers and they like did a lot of, my paternal grandfather, he was like a painter and a photographer and a writer and a musician and like all this kind of stuff. So it's in his blood. He was also like the kind of, I loved he's my pop. I loved him. Everybody loved him. He's like the guy, his name was, Tony, right? So he would go to the store, like, oh, Mr. Tony. Everybody loved him. He was just like, he had charisma, right? But he also was like up to no good. Like he had, the family knows he had some ladies on the side. He, acquired things.
How do they know? Was his wife just like, whatever, let him go? Or
Yeah, it was just known. You know what I mean? And he would acquire things like he would like pull up with like a bunch of stereos or like a bunch of things that he acquired. He supposedly worked he told my nan that he was bartending at night. He's like, I'm a mixologist is what he told her. Turns out he like never worked there. The people there didn't even know him. He was like,
no.
yeah, he was running card games. He wasn't like a mafioso or anything like that. He was just, he's just hustling. You know what I mean? He was just like that.
You like a bit of hustle. Like this is where you get it from. You like a bit of above board hustle, I would say. Well, maybe a little below as well, but
all above board. All above board.
All right, all above board.
I don't go below board. No. Nope.
No, that's true. You don't really. So you're not really half as nasty or crazy as these other characters.
No.
But just enough of it.
But when I was young, my parents got divorced, and like we were really poor, and like this is I was just acting out. You know what I mean? I was just a wild young man acting out and doing all that stuff. But I wanted to do radio. Right. So I go to Votech, I do the radio thing, and I never took school seriously at all, ever. I thought it was a big joke. I was always bored in school, and like I didn't like the rules, and it's just the way that it was. I was just a goofball.
But did you go back and get your graduation in the end?
Yeah, I did graduate in the end by like the skin of my teeth. I graduated
through the radio program. That's cool that you can do stuff like that. There was nothing like that in the little town I grew up in. There'd be no second chance thing like that. There was nothing. Like there wasn't even a college there. So. Well, there was sort of. It kind of was.
So it was like when I passed. So at the end of the year, we turned in like these portfolios to like different whatever. We turned them into. There's like a local radio station that we turned our radio portfolio.
It was like a cassette tape of you talking, was it, or what is it?
It was a CD, and our jobs where we were supposed to make bumpers and do like they were supposed to. You'll do like 20 minutes of like scripted.
What's a bumper again? Is that is a bumper when you advertise something? What's a bumper?
A bumper is like, you are listening to WXBR radio, blah blah blah, that kind of stuff, right? Yeah, that was good. So I did a bunch of stuff like that, and I followed none of the rules. I just did whatever I wanted, and I made this complete, just like ridiculous thing, and I sent it into them, and they gave me the great.
This would be pure gold to hear if you had it.
I don't still have it. It's like,
shitty.
Man, that's so gone. But they gave me, I think they gave me, it was like a D+ or something. They said D+. Really, they said something like D+ didn't follow directions, but has potential. Give us a call. And they wrote their number on it. And none of the other kids got this. The kids were like in my class were pissed. Kids that got like 8 A's and like perfect scores. We're like, why is it he gets a call or whatever? So I call and I talk to them. They're like, look, you have a great voice. Like, I know you didn't follow any of the directions, but some of your skits that you made were hilarious. This is very creative. We loved it. It's just we had to give you a D because you freaking didn't follow directions. They gave me an ultimatum. They're like, look, we're going to offer you an internship at the radio station, and you got to prove that you can follow directions and do what you're supposed to do and not goof off, and this can be your path into broadcasting industry.
That sounds good.
And I was no, I was gonna accept it, but my boomer parents talked me out of it and said that I should go be a floor installer. So I went. So I listened to them and I didn't do it. And I went to be a floor installer, and I did it for like 5-6 years until like illegal immigrants completely priced us out of the market. And then I like went into horrible debt for a long time, had to sell all my tools, and it was the worst decision I ever
that's
made.
A brutal job. Like that's almost as bad as roofing. I wouldn't want to fucking do that.
Yeah, my knees are still busted. Yeah, you don't want to do that. Yeah, you don't want to do that job.
Your back
too
and your
long.
knees. Oh, fuck that. Roofing too. If you were doing flat roof, tar and gravel, you're just bent over all day long. It's like,
yeah, roofing, concrete, and flooring are 3 jobs that will tear your body up.
I never did flooring, and nothing could compel me to do. I did some flooring here recently, but I took my fucking leisurely, wonderful time. I had a wonderfully slow and leisurely time. It's still not actually fully done. Well, it is, but I have to do a bit in the corner right behind me here, actually. So, but that's
I'm sorry. I'm gonna give you like his big long saga, but
no, there's nothing else. There's nothing else to do. But they're very fascinating. I want to hear this legacy of what formed you into this creature. And like you are so much like a radio voice personality. It is really, you can see it. You had it in you. So that sucks though that you lost all that time when you should have gone to the radio. Obviously.
Yeah. And
it was an unpaid internship though. Is that it? Is that what made you not do it? Because no money or what?
Well, that's what my parents said. I was like ready to do it. I was like, I'm gonna do this and I'm gonna kill it. And
why did you suddenly listen to your parents after like disobeying every law and every grown up that you fucking fuck you?
I don't know. I don't know.
Right. I don't know. I did similar things.
I should have like. You're right. It was like the one time to like not listen to my parents. You know, I don't know. It just didn't work out. It wasn't meant to be. Whatever. Yeah. But so after that, I get into flooring and I get out of flooring and I have this piece of shit job. I'm working at a hotel at nights. I'm doing banquet setup. Meaning I just like lug big ass tables around and set up banquet rooms and then go hang out and smoke weed. That's like the whole job. Right. So during this time, I was like, I want to get back into radio. And during this time, this was
how old were you then? Probably 20 or something.
I was I wasn't quite old enough to drink yet. Yeah. So I was like 20. Right. I did flooring for like 3-4 years and then 18, 19, 20. Who knows? I'm terrible at keeping track of time. I was like still sort of doing some flooring on the side here. But that was like, I didn't want to do it anymore. I hated it. I was so butthurt about what happened with that, whatever. So when I wasn't working at this place, I got set up doing what was it called? There was a client. It was like a client program that you could set up on your computer. It was called like Ice Stream or like Ice Cast or something like that. And it was what it was an audio live stream broadcasting thing that you could use in order, and then people could listen to it and they could pick between stations on their VLC player. Remember the VLC player that has the little.
I still have that somewhere. I don't know when the last time I used it. I saw it recently on my desktop. I was like, oh, VLC.
So there was like a lot of people that were listening to underground radio via this. And what I would do is after I would get off work at like, I don't know, midnight, or like 11 or whatever, I would go home and go live and do a late night conspiracy broadcast. And during this time is when I discovered Prison Planet.
Was this inspired by Alex Jones or what was it inspired by?
It was inspired by Prison Planet, which was Alex Jones, and the very early Red Ice creations. So the very early Red Ice. I talked to Henrik about it and I apologized. I was like, Henrik, I'm sorry. I pirated all of your content back then because I didn't have no money. I was working for minimum wage and I loved it. I would listen to his shows. Henrik was like such a huge influence on me as a radio guy because of his talent for conversation. He's such a great conversationalist.
And this is back when this is back before they were really controversial. Probably they were just doing like talking to all the old guys, like what some of the old interviews. They had some amazing ones still. He talked with who's the old psychedelic guy he had on. I'm terrible to remember people's names lately. But anyway, this is before they were all sort of controversial. They were more just like esoteric topics.
They were talking about UFOs and purple dawn theory and electric universe and paranormal and remote viewing. I
remember that.
CIA mind control and like this was like, this stuff blew my mind back then. I used to like listen, like some of his shows I would listen like over and over or over and over. I would listen to it in my headphones and I would sit and lay on my bed and smoke joints and like listen to this shit in my headphones. I had those big jalopy 80s headphones with the curly cord, and I would just sit and I would just like fucking like listen over and over. It just blew my mind. I loved it. I fell in love with it. Fell in love with Prison Planet. Dude, Alex Jones, I know, he's not our guy or all this kind of stuff, but just as a radio talent, his ability to just talk and his delivery he is the OG in that format. He's one of the original guys in that format. He created something.
He's way better than like Rush Limbaugh or like a lot of those other guys.
Oh my God! Oh, there's fucking Alex Jones on top of the way he talks, his delivery, and another thing with Alex Jones is his memory is insane. Like I listen to there was like so many times he would be I would like listen to him and somebody would call in or talk or whatever. Like, hey, have you ever heard of this? Like, well, I heard about that in 1934, 6, and he like rattle off names and dates and location. He just has it all memorized. I'm like, that's incredible that he's able to do that. And another one I loved. You ever hear? You might have not got it because it wasn't in Canada. I think it was just American. Coast to Coast AM with Art Bell. You ever hear that?
No, I've heard of it many times, but yeah, and I know a little bit about it, but no, I never heard it really.
Yeah, Art Bell. I did a short stint of a broadcast with some of my buddies to try to recreate that vibe. I called myself Dave Mart-el because we were like, it was he was really talking about aliens and like I just love that stuff. I don't know if it's true or whatever, but I've always been an imaginative guy, so I just like weird shit. So anyway, during this time, I would completely like rip off Alex Jones and Red Ice and Art Bell and take all of their shit and repackage it and do entire shows. I had an old mixer, right? It was from the 70s. It was a Mackie mixer. And I used to have like all these like adapters. I would run it into the microphone jack on my computer, and I would do a whole show myself on ice streams. And then I would go on like LiveJournal and MySpace and various other forums and promote my show. Yeah.
MySpace.
Zanga.
I met my wife on MySpace. That's how long ago that was.
Same, actually. It wasn't MySpace. I met my wife before I contacted my wife in a Yahoo chat room.
Yahoo.
It was a Yahoo metal chat room.
Oh, nice.
Yeah.
Nice.
I was like, yo, is anybody going to I forget, it was like a Cannibal Corpse show or something. I can't remember. No, it was Amon Amarth. I was like, is anybody going to this Amon Amarth and Belphegor show in Philadelphia? And she chimes in. She's like, yeah, I'm from South Jersey. I'll be there. I was like, cool. I'll see you there.
I would pronounce that Amon Amarth or something. Amon Amarth. I never heard it said that way. Another unique pronunciation from yourself. Interesting. You pronounce things phonetically as it occurs to you. It comes into your brain. And you say, I will say it this way.
Yeah,
I never question it.
We were just saying. I was just telling Brendan for years. I said cacophony. I didn't know it's pronounced cacophony.
Yeah, we didn't do that live. Yeah, you're right. Yeah, cacophony.
Yeah.
For years, for years, no one corrected him. They just thought, "Oh, that Dave Mart-el with his quirky stuff. There he is again." What's he on about?
So they just like let me walk around sound like a fucking idiot for years. Thanks, guys. Appreciate it.
No, you always just you could be doing it for strange, esoteric reasons, or just to fuck them up, or just to fuck with people. I'm on a Mars. I never heard it pronounced that way, but maybe Amon Amarth. I would have said. I haven't even thought of that band for like decades, probably.
It was like, remember, what was the tour? I think it was like Fate of Norn's tour. It was like I only like 2 or 3 of their albums. They're very early albums. Like after like that, I'm like, because the early stuff was kind of like, it was kind of like earthy and organic, had like a little bit of black metal elements to it. And then after it got real commercial and gay and started sounding just like just basic bitch Gothenburg garbage. But yes, some of the early stuff was okay. They had some good songs.
Yeah.
Yeah, and they put on a good show.
So what you're on the switchboards, and then what happened there?
So I had this completely white trash, jalopy, horrible radio setup. I'm using a dynamic mic that I got from my buddy's dad's cover band. Like I was like, this guy's name was Bob. I was like, yo, Bob, I need some extra sound gear. He's like, I got you. Come out to the shed. Come to the band shed. So I got to the shed. He's got all this crap from the 70s. Like he's like, just take it. I just want to get rid of it. I'm just kind of fucking rotted here. So I get a mixer. He gives me this big giant 50 CD changer, like this big 50 CD changer. And this is what I did. This is actually
fucking that thing now. Like holy shit, what a waste of fucking space.
I know, it's absolutely ridiculous. But now looking back, this was actually kind of clever on my part. Like I was like, is it kind of cringe for a long time? But now looking back, so what I would do is I would stream around the clock. My computer would be going around the clock streaming. And when I was at work or elsewhere, I would run my my 50 CD changer, and on every CD I had mixes of music with bumpers in between, so it felt like you were listening to a real radio show. And like during the whole week, I would make like 1 CD or 2 CDs or 3 CDs, new ones, and then I would just like cycle them out. I had like 1,000 CDs and then reruns of other shows. So like my stream, and like during that time, I was like getting up to like 1,500, 2,000, 3,000 live viewers and shit on this thing. So I was like, it was pretty great actually. There are people once in a while, once in a blue moon, and then we're talking, this is 20 years ago. People will pop up and be like, yo, did you do a show called this? And I'm like, yes, do not tell anybody. It's because they heard me back then, back in the day. So
did you go by Dave Mart-el, or was it a different name?
Different name. I had a different name, right. Different everything. Yeah.
And what kind of viewers? Like how many? Would you have any clue how many listeners you had?
It was shaky. Like it would tell you on the thing like how many viewers where people were tuning in, but it was really shaky because it would say once it would be like 2,000 views, and it would go down like 30 views, and then whatever. So it was like up and down. You never really knew. It was really janky. Right.
But I love that kind of pirate shit though. But I mean, it's kind of the same shit you're doing now, I guess.
Yeah.
Like what? It's very similar. Like what we're doing as we speak is just kind of like, pirate
exactly.
Or in a way, so many people are doing it. It's not like it was before where you'd have an autistic person, obsessively autistic person going all through the night, and they're broadcasting from the room about crazy shit.
And then so after that, I get into what was called blog talk radio, right? Which actually my sound quality on my shitty setup was way better than blog talk. Blog talk radio actually fucking sucked. And I was on there for a while, and then I got off of that, and then I started doing video streaming, which was like brand new at the time. I was actually the night that Facebook allowed video streaming. I was like one of the first shows ever on the entirety of Facebook live.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, live Facebook, whatever. And I was using OBS and all that. Yeah.
It doesn't seem like that long ago. That's like what? How many years ago is that?
We're talking
10 years, 15 years more.
2014.
Okay. Yeah. 10 years.
2015. Yeah.
Yeah.
So yeah, that's how I got into radio. That's how I got into radio. Fast forward, I've done probably, I've done thousands and thousands of shows and hours and all of this kind of stuff.
Yeah. But okay, so the whole point of this long history is you said originally that you get burnt out from it sometimes. You were talking about the bog and how sometimes you just gotta leave it and come, or like what's the story with that? You just kind of get tired of it, or you feel like taking a break, or what?
So yeah, I get salty sometimes because I very much view myself as a professional at this format. I take a lot of pride. I write show notes. I have format. I have pacing. I do plugs. I have all my plugs memorized. I'm a legit radio guy, and I get a little salty when fucking idiots get on there and they just have this kind of like aimless back and forth, blah, 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 and they get all this views, and I get shadow banned, and it don't go nowhere. So I'm like, what? Right. Fuck this. I quit. So I stopped doing it. And also it gets old. I get tired. It's like I said everything that I want to say. How much
that does happen. Yeah. You're like, okay, I'm repeating myself again. I know it. And it's like, oh God. But I don't I avoid that now because I know I did start to repeat myself for a while. And it's easy, say, talking to someone like you and certain people. And you can just sort of like, you don't have to worry about it or whatever. But like you will have, or you might have a guest who's sort of very low energy, and you're kind of, I don't know, even though it can be interesting, or it could just be a dry exchange of information, you just feel, you learn to feel sort of the pace of it. And when you feel like, we should interject a little joke here, or we should somehow get out of the story and move on to another one somehow. Like I feel like I'm getting bored or something. You have to kind of like feel your way through it like that. But you're right. If you can get easily, I know what you mean. You can get burned out, and you just need to stop for a while. Even though regularity supposedly is the key to the whole thing. Like, and I don't know what you mean. Like the ones who get famous doing it, obviously though, the ones who do who take off more. Like some of them, first of all, I do believe they use bots and stuff to get an initial kind of they break out of the gate in some fake way, and once a lot of people will sort of when they feel like there's a million people watching something, they're like, oh, I better watch it too. And they like that eventually do get legit follows through that. I think some of them, maybe do that. Like people, I think I always suspected that of, say, like Nick Fuentes or something, at least at first, using bots and unnatural methods. But like it's often not, the one, and like the ones that do also being not overly controversial. If you're gonna, like, I don't know, we're on YouTube, and I don't take it as seriously as you, in that, I didn't want to be a radio personality. I never thought I would do something like that. The only reason I started doing it because I had a client who, or what do you call him, a patron on Patreon, who said, you make some videos, I'll give you a bit of money. So that's the only reason I did it. And it's fun, actually. It is fun when you don't take it seriously. It's actually quite fun. Like, we're just really chin wagging here, like you'd be talking to anybody, right?
Yeah.
It's fucking Friday night for me. I'm having a drink, so like it's.
And you also have unique content. That's your whole shtick, is you bring on people that are eccentric, unique people, and you have off the wall conversations and talk about who knows where it goes, right? You have you're not really bringing a formatted radio show. You know what I mean? It's a little bit of a different beast, but there's no format.
There's no format at all.
It's good content. The problem is that there's a lot of people out there that don't do good content. They're not professional. They're not. So they don't do like any, and for some,
like, who are you thinking of? Do you not want to name names, or who are you thinking of? Like,
I don't know. I see him streaming all the fucking time. They just pop up. I was like, I'm not watching this jerk off. No vocal talent. No fucking. He's got no personality. He's got no like deep knowledge on anything. You got to have one of those things. You have to have a good voice, or you need to have good delivery, or you need to have good, like, deep wells of knowledge that you can draw from, right? Yeah. Where somebody brings something up and then you can fucking monologue like a maniac, because that's effectively what this format is monologuing. You know what I mean? Plus, with conversation, you have guests, it's different. But when you run a solo show, you got to be able to go from thing to thing to thing to thing to thing to thing and keep talking and talking and keep it going, because there's nothing worse than dead air. Dead air for us when we're live is like a second. For the viewer, it feels like 20 seconds. You know what I mean? So you got to keep it going.
The only time it gets bad for me is if I drink too much, like towards the end of some of them, and then I notice, like, on the odd, I never really watch them back, but the odd time I watch them back, and all of a sudden I get into this like slow, boring monologue, just this drunk, useless shit. I'm just like talking shit. I was like, oh god, just shut up. But that's the only time I think it's, as you say, I don't have a practiced, nice sounding voice like you, but I can fill the air with talk anyways. Like, did you work on your radio voice, or was it naturally like that?
Well, it is naturally like. So when I get on also, you have a good voice. You have a nice like, you have a baritone in your voice.
I talk really fast, or I talk too fast, I think. If I was to try and practice, it's one thing I would do is try to slow my speech down. If I was to practice, I think that would be better.
This is one of my favorite, like, you have this eccentricity about the way that you talk, and it entertains the shit out of me, because there are certain guests that, like, you could tell it flusters them, right? Because you will talk like that, and then you and it's like it's. I don't know. I just think it's just quirky and it's funny to me. It's just a funny part of your personality and your delivery, and I like it. There are people that it I don't know, I guess it kind of like disrupts their flow or something like that, and that's like my favorite thing when it like I don't know, I like it. I think it's good. It's fun.
Yeah, you're right. I do disrupt some of them. Yeah, it's true. Yeah, usually then towards the end they get used to it. That's what I find about these things too. Like, often, I don't know, like, people that maintain a level. This is the part of the trick, is like it often takes, you have to chat usually for about at least 10 minutes before it becomes like more of a casual, nice little flowing thing, is what I find, right? So the beginnings are usually can be a bit cutting each other off, and it's a bit, not as great. It usually takes a bit, and then it gets into it, and then it's usually better. But like, often I think people, if it's not immediately perfect and good, people will tune out sometimes.
Yeah.
And maybe the guys who are really pro, I don't know how they avoid that. Is there a trick for that? Like, do you know what I mean?
Yeah. So I always start. So when I have a guest on and they're not somebody that's used to coming on shows, and doing this kind of stuff, especially if it's sometimes I think audio is harder because people can't see your facial expressions, and it feels a little like inhuman or something. So people that freeze up a little bit tend to freeze up more when it's just audio, and they don't know how to get into it. And I begin all of my shows with like really my plugs for you guys that listen to Culture Dads or the Bog or whatever, make sure you go over to Culture Dads. That's culture with a K.com, culturedads.com. Go get signed up to the Gumroad over there so you can get so many great perks, such as hardback copies of the Western Canon series and beyond. And I do my whole fucking line of plugs, and I do this, and I get shouting and hollering. And for people that aren't used to that energy is a little bit intimidating for them, right? And then if I just dropped off like, now talk to us, they're like, oh, yeah. So I start out and I'm like, and with me, I say something nice about them so they feel good. It's somebody that I'm a big fan of. They do a lot of great work with this and that. I kind of do their introduction for them. I'm like, how you doing today? How you feeling? You feeling good? You doing good? Fucking, and then how you doing is a good, it lets them warm up a little bit. I feel good. Thanks for having me. Blah 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 blah. And you're like, let me add. And one thing I like to do is before I get into their meat and potatoes of what they're going to talk about, I hit them with something that is like, because I always do my research on my guests. I always know, and I find something personal about them or something that usually people wouldn't ask them. Something about their accent or something about where they're from, or maybe something that's a little offbeat, or something just weird. It's like a good question, and they're like, wow, that's a cool question. People like it when you notice minutia about them. Even if it's something that's quirky or whatever. Like, I like this weird thing that you do, or I like this thing, whatever. People like that. I mean, when they feel that you are paying extra attention to what they put effort in, because as a creative, when you're doing a creative thing, you are thinking about things on levels that nobody is ever going to notice. You're doing like a painting or whatever. I'm doing blue over purple here because this signifies this. It's just like absolutely nobody will ever see it, right? So I make an effort to try to see something like that, and that makes people feel good. And then they're like, okay, I appreciate this guy. And then they start opening up, and then we can have a good show. We can get into their meat and potatoes. So that's always been, and I actually learned that from Henrik. Henrik does that.
Oh shit.
Yeah.
Okay,
yeah, that's a Henrik thing.
There's been a couple of times, at least twice. One of them was with that big Dutch politician guy, which was one of the biggest videos I had for for views.
That was incredible.
Thierry Baudet or whatever. I somehow he agreed to come on. I don't know why, because he followed me on. He likes the chicks posting of chicks on Twitter or whatever. So I asked him to. So he came on, but then right at the beginning, him and at least one other person I did this. I drew a blank and completely forgot his name. And I was saying something I required his name. I actually had to stop and say, what's your name again? Totally forget his fucking name.
Yeah.
And that's pretty bad.
What I would have said is this is how I frame it, right? I would have been like, how do I pronounce your name? I'm sorry. I don't want to say your name.
I might have done some silly thing like that, but I think it was obvious that I just because I was stumbling. I was like, I tried to say the word so many times. That's what I do. That's a problem. Like you were saying about Alex Jones, his amazing memory for names and dates. And maybe I'm getting old with dementia or something. I don't know, because I was never great with it. But especially if it's not important and I need to recall someone's name or something like that, it's no problem. But if I'm doing something like this, like even earlier on, I was trying to think of that guy, the name of I'm still trying to think of it. So someone that Henrik interviewed early on, who's like a totally classic. I have some of his books. He's like a sort of psychedelic era early author and philosopher. Shit, I won't remember his name now. He wrote like the Illuminatus trilogy.
I know you're talking about. Yeah.
And there's a couple of guys like that he interviewed. It was like totally excellent. I don't know how he got them, because he was just this. I guess maybe guys like that maybe they would even come on our shows now if they were around, actually.
Yeah.
And he interviewed what's the girl from Dune and Blade Runner, Sean Young, the girl. Yeah, that was pretty cool. And she was like saying some fairly right-wing things. I asked her, because I remember that, and I asked her myself. I went to her website and looked her up and asked her would she come on my thing, but she declined. But she did. She did personally respond and say, "Sorry, I won't do it," which was nice.
Yeah. There's an original question. Yeah. Oh, about you asked about radio voice.
Oh, Robert Anton Wilson is another one. Yeah, Robert Anton Wilson he talked to too. Another fucking classic genius guy. Yeah. Sorry, go on.
Oh yeah. Oh no, I was just gonna say, this is my. So when I get on the microphone, I talk from the diaphragm. Like if you hang out with me in real life,
yeah,
my voice is gonna sound a little bit. It's the same voice. I'm not like putting on a fake voice, but I do emphasize. I talk a little bit different on the microphone. And everybody does. This is something that they teach you in radio school. Nobody wants to hear your basic ass conversation voice. They want to hear you got to talk. The same thing with your singing. If you're singing or whatever, if you're trying to project, you're trying to perform. Because if at the end of the day, radio is entertainment, it's performance. Even if you're doing something,
you learned that from singing, did you? The singing from the gut thing. I never learned that. I don't know. I can't even imagine how you do that. But
yeah, you just like here, like if I'm talking right now, this is kind of like my normal conversation voice right here. But when I push from the diaphragm, it becomes this. It gets a little bit more. You know what I mean? Yeah. It's just what it is. Yeah,
that's brilliant. So, I remember seeing Eric Adams from Manowar giving a lesson on how to do it, but. I couldn't imagine that, his shrieking, but all that is like from his guts, and like it's not like shrieking like the top of your screeching your throat out or whatever. It's like the screech is being performed like inside his body almost. It's almost like, I think, you know what I mean? It gets, I don't know, don't ask me how it works. I don't know what the fuck. It's crazy, that shit.
Yeah, Eric Adams, what a also you got Eric Adams is like 1 in a million vocal talent.
Yeah,
you know what I mean. He's like top 1%, 1% of 1%.
He was the best metal screecher of all time. He was better than Halford or any of them. No, you don't think so? Halford.
I'm not saying I agree or disagree. Yeah. I don't want to say.
Maybe I shouldn't say that. Maybe because Halford was before him, and he had Halford's best screech was on, in my opinion, on that early Victim of Changes. At the end,
that's a good one.
He starts low and he goes high. He's like,
and then you got.
I can't even.
Then you got Tim Owens. You got Bobby Leatherlung Lucas. You got who else?
The guy from Deep Purple guy could do a good shriek.
Oh, Ian Gillian. Oh my God. One of the that's another one, dude.
I think he basically invented that kind of like operatic shrieking.
Yeah, the dude from Uriah Heep.
Yeah. Oh yeah. Yeah, I saw them last summer. Still great.
You told me that. Yeah, that's wonderful.
Yeah. Still good. Just a bunch of old guys, long, like billowing white hair, like wizards. I like that because it wasn't like trying to look young or whatever.
Yeah.
Like, I don't know. Yeah, they were cool.
That's awesome. That's wonderful. Yeah.
That's like someone was harassing me today about like, why do you always have to be some like other old guy like me? And he's like, why do you always have the beard? Why don't you shave it? And I was like, oh, I shave it sometimes, but it's like I don't give a shit about looking old, becoming old. I don't mind if my hair goes white or any of that shit. But like I do have kind of a baby face. When I know I do shave once in a while, but I always like end up growing it back. But now that I'm actually getting old, like if there's one thing I couldn't stand, is like being old and having a baby face. Like that seems fucking abysmal.
Yeah. That's a good mix.
No, fuck that.
Yeah.
What were you gonna say? I cut you off with some stupid beard.
Oh yeah. Hearthfire Radio, what we were supposed to talk about an hour ago. Yeah,
I'm not even sure we finished discussing why you come and go from podcasting, but I guess so you just need a break from it, basically.
Oh yeah, so
take a break.
Yeah, I just like I just thought you get miserable with it. I've done it so many times, it kind of just becomes whatever. It is what it is. You just like kind of fall out of love with it when you do something for so long. You just need a break. So I just took a break for a while, and I came back to do Culture Dads, which is like a different vibe. I've always done good with co-hosts. I did solo for years. I can totally do a solo show whenever. But
did you used to do a show originally with She Who Should Not Be Named.
I did one with her for a few months. So maybe we probably did, I don't know, 20 episode, maybe. I don't know. Yeah.
Right.
Yeah. I did one with her for a little while. I was looking. So during the time, it was like real hot to have a female co-host. Yeah. And I tried out probably 10 different female co-hosts. And yeah, like some of them were good and I liked some of them, but they were a little bit flaky. And then there was like one or two that they were good, but they never did any of the prep. They didn't do if we do like a real show and you're my official co-host, you gotta come with some prep. You know what I mean? You don't gotta write a book or do a whole bunch of research. You have to at least have to come with some familiarity of what we're going to talk about. Yeah. And there's a couple of them that just never did any of that, and it just never worked. And I landed with what's her name, and
I mean, she was good in her. She would have her folklore knowledge was good. In fact, you were talking just today about. I mean, that's the only thing I really remember. Well, a couple of things maybe from following her and things was she did one about the origin of that word El, which is biblical. It's like a Hebraic. You were loving how I break up your name into Mart-el. That's why, because El I think means God in not Hebrew, but some sort of like the fucking Canaanites or some ancient language origin thing. Yeah, whatever. Yeah, she's the one who I heard that from.
I like it because it reminds me of the band Kal-El and also Clark Ashton Smith.
That's where it comes from with them too. Yeah, probably because Kal-El is Persian, I think, origin name. I know it's used in the fucking Superman, but I actually, when I interviewed him, he got all upset. I was like, "Oh, he's Superman's father." He's like, "No, what are you talking about? It's ancient Persian." King or city or something. I don't know what it is, but like, what are some words in English with L? Shit, I can't think of any. But like, its origin is like a god or something like that. Yeah. So I know Mart-el isn't your real name, but
no, I still fuck with it though. I like it.
Might as well be at this point.
It reminds me when Clark Ashton Smith would write letters to Lovecraft, he would call himself Clark Ashton and spell it all weird, like Clark Ash dash ton, like it is some sort of like something from the Necronomicon or something.
Yeah. Oh Jesus, I was reading some of we shouldn't discuss this probably, but some of Lovecraft's more racist letters to Robert E. Howard. Holy shit. the brilliant prose, the racism in prose from these letters is just amazing. Like you just be laughing out loud every sentence. Like totally, more or less true, of course, but it's still hilarious, shocking, hilarious, and prosaic. The man had a gift for just words. He had that because guys back then just generally, I guess they would be educated. They said Shakespeare, his vocabulary of words was like 10,000 times more than like somebody today. Like he just, for any subject, he knew like 3 different words, 5 different words for it. He could pull it out of his ass at any given time. And it is nice. You don't appreciate when you're young. Shakespeare, I can appreciate a bit more now. I can kind of, at least, I don't like sit there and read it or whatever. When you see it, you can appreciate the choice of words, the choice of things he's chosen to describe, and the way he's saying it alone is quite amazing.
Yeah,
and it's just like it's unusual. It's unusual. So like any plain mundane thing is just said in a way that's either incredibly just from left field or comical or violent. I don't know. It's crazy. Anyway, that's it.
Like Lovecraft will be like talking about who have like loathsome forms of mockeries of nature, hideous sepulchral unnameabilities from the mad dark corners of black earth. It's like dog, you're just talking about like it's just like a Greek guy. He's like Nico Papadopoulos, dude. He's just trying to give you some gyros, bud.
Yeah, he was always on about the inhabitants of New York, Manhattan, and that's what this particular letter was about. But holy shit, it's hilarious. But like more or less true, at least what he was talking about there. It wasn't. Let's just say he wasn't talking about the Greeks.
Yeah, he was hard on the Mediterranean.
What's that? He was hard to penetrate. Well, yeah, but he also would say forgiving things about them. He'd be like, well, they're not Aryans, but they have good taste, he would say, and they learn quickly and they can adapt. And he wasn't out to get them as people think.
That's he also loved Italian food, by the way.
Well, who fucking doesn't? He'd have to be, who doesn't?
One of his favorite meals was pasta. He would have like pasta every single Friday. He would go for spaghetti and meatballs or something like that.
Would he?
Yeah.
Good old Lovecraft. He looks exactly like my friend Steve Reimer back in my hometown.
Really?
I shouldn't drop his name so blatantly, but my old friend of mine looks exactly like Lovecraft. Always did. But he's a dead normal kind of guy. Like, well, not exactly. You can't say that. I used to call him average guy extraordinaire because he would want to be outwardly seen and sort of behave and adopt like total dead normal behavior, but secretly his personality was totally just as fucking fucked up as the rest of us. Like we weren't as we were all metalheads and like we were pretty wild. There's some wild stories. Like, it wasn't just like normal type people and behavior. I don't know. There's some guys like that like they want to be normal but they can't really be or something. I don't know. That's my buddy. My buddy, he looks like Lovecraft.
Yeah, that's a thing.
So, it is a thing. Yeah. So I guess that explains it. So we come and go from streaming sometimes because that's just what you got to do, I guess. But it's always there. We can always come back to it. And like you've got your Culture Dads thing did pretty good. Like, would you ever leave that alone too, or do you keep up with that like no matter what?
So me and Mike just had the idea. We wanted to just like do like 10 episodes or something to start. And now just this morning we recorded our 107th episode. So I don't know how long it's going to go. We got like a bunch of subscribers. It's completely behind paywall. And we're like, we just want to do it to make a couple extra bucks and kind of whatever. And it's kind of turned into this big thing. So we're going to keep chipping away at it. And then for Hearthfire Radio, I'm bringing back the Bog. So the Bog's back. We just recorded a new episode last night. And then Hearthfire Radio also it features Tom Rousel. He's coming on. He's got it. What is this show called? It's called like something of the North Sea or something like that. It's really really, really a good show. And then you got the Golden One. He's on there with a like video series podcast called Physique Manufactorum, where he's helping guys get jacked, get so juicy, right? And then yeah, I love him. He's so great, dude. Marcus is my dude. He's like he's so funny and so creative, and when you get to know him, it's like on his shows, he's like, "How dare you with your heresy?" And like he's like, "If I may be so bold," and like he's like totally the glorious lion and all this stuff. But when you get talk to him, he's like the nicest, kindest, like he's just like a gentle giant. And he
seems like a nice guy, right? Yeah, he seems
such like a nice good guy. He's such a nice guy. He's just like one of those dudes that's just happy, nice disposition, positive all the time. Just the kind of guy. Yeah, he's the kind of guy that if you like left him alone in a room with $1 million cash, you wouldn't take a dime, right?
Yeah. I could see that.
Yeah,
I could see that about.
Yeah, he's like one of them. And then we got
is he being positive with the state of Sweden? It must be just getting. Well, maybe Sweden has leveled out, and it's you don't hear about it like you used to. For a long time there, it was like the canary in the coal mine for the whole globalist situation.
Yeah, they're fighting. It seems like they're fighting back. Shout out to our boys, our Swedish buddies, man. I love the Swedes. They're really unique. They're beautiful people, man. The Swedes are great people.
I'd like to go there. I still haven't been there.
Yeah,
Norway. I'm going.
Every Swede I've ever talked, not every, but many of the Swedes that I've talked to, they're all into music and they're all like, it's not a big surprise that they have punched way above their weight as far as like creating music, like pop music and metal and all of this. They're very musical people, believe it or not. You know what I mean?
Yeah, they like them. The Kal-El guys were all Swedish too.
Yeah,
so they're just Bronze were all in Sweden as well. But though she was Spanish originally, but that's another Swedish band as well. Yeah, there's got a lot of music comes out of Sweden for sure.
Absolutely, they're big. They're very musical people.
You talk to them like it's funny if you try to. I know a couple of them here. They're not really I don't know. There was like a girl I know, anyways. But I knew some Norwegian people, and they were pretty cool. The Swedish girl, not so much, but that was just her. She was kind of funny. But it's like when you try to imitate the way they talk, they really do the little musical lilty thing. It's pretty funny. They try to even show me, like, even if you're trying to say something in Norwegian, you have to do the little like, I am talking in Norwegian. You have to sing a little song every time you just want to say a sentence. And it makes your own. You realize that, what was that? Was that?
That was just a swear word. I think I said skinkeriter, which is like it's like calling somebody homo or something. I learned that from Andre, my co-host. He's from Norway. Yeah, the Norwegians they're like a little more grim and a little more rugged than the Swedes, I think. At least that's the vibe that I got.
Hard drinkers. Hardest drinkers people I ever saw.
Oh my goodness.
Yeah. More than mix, more than limeys. Who are the other big drinkers? Yeah, I think they drink more than fucking, because they drink hard. Like, if I go out with those Norwegian guys, they're just drinking shots, like bang, 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 all night.
Yeah.
I mean, maybe it's them, but holy shit.
Yeah.
I think I heard the Icelandics actually are even worse.
Really?
Yeah.
So here's the thing. I've run into like a few dozen Icelanders on the internet, and I've only liked like 2 of them. I overwhelmingly hate these people.
Oh no, why?
I don't know. They're pretentious pieces of shit. They're snitches. They're like very arrogant and gay. They think they fucking know everything. They think they're the like top king shit. They talk down to Americans. It's like, dog, you live on a little fucking island. You guys like, eat sharks.
How many have you met?
There's like, so, I used to be in like a
43 of them
online. So yeah, probably like 40.
Probably about 43. Oh shit, that's bad. That's a bad metric. And I know you're an open-minded God. You wouldn't just like hate them for no reason.
Yeah,
for a long time I felt that way about people from New Zealand.
Really?
They always annoy me.
They're annoying too. They're fucking. They're worst. They're like Icelanders, but Australian.
Maybe it's from being from an island. It makes them annoying somehow. Is that it?
I don't know. Yeah, maybe it's from being like I
don't know.
Yeah.
Like in the old days, I remember I'd be working on construction sites like yourself in Vancouver and that. And if there was a guy from, I don't know about Australians, but I remember in the New Zealanders, they'd always be the guy that comes along and like acts like a jerk and like, let me show you how to do that. Oh, do this way, and like just be kind of like rude and full of themselves. So exactly what you're saying. Kind of like, yeah, arrogant and like weird, and I don't know. I didn't like that. But I mean, come on, it's probably a coincidence. We can't.
It's probably. So I got a couple buddies that are like Icelandic, and they said they're like, yeah, if you're, they have a name for them. I guess there's like a slang term for these. Like, I guess they're from the Reykjavik or whatever. They call them like 401s or something like that, which is the area code, and they're all like these like hipster douchebags. So it's probably I ran into that. I used to have a little channel on social media, and some of the other admins would like download, like share some like copyright stuff, and these Icelandic dudes snitched on us and got the channel shut down, and they're like,
oof.
Yeah. So it's like,
why? What?
And then on top of that, we had like there's like some heathen groups and stuff on social media, and like all of the Icelanders were just really jerk off to the like Americans, like talk down to us, like you don't even speak the language and this and that. It's like, dude, you don't even believe in the thing. You're just here to like police us. You know what I mean? It's like, I don't know. So it's not. I know some good Icelandic folks, but the ones that I've met are just. Outside of that, I have not liked them. So I'm sorry if you're Icelandic and you're listening to this and you're getting mad. I'm not talking about you. I'm whatever. Just, you got to like hit up some of your boys, but you guys got to smooth this over with Big Dave because he's not feeling you guys right now.
Yeah, and I need an apology from New Zealand. I actually lived with a couple from New Zealand too, and it was actually the woman had worked on Lord of the Rings. She made little puppets and things, and she'd done some kind of work on Lord of the Rings, which was cool. When they filmed it all in the New Zealand there, but like she was so annoying, and I remember I accidentally broke. They had a little New Zealand flag hanging out the front of the house on the porch, and I was drunk one night or something. I just a little shitty flag, and I hit off it and broke it by accident, right? And I'm sure I apologized or whatever. And they made a huge stink about it, like, oh, like talking about how our people died in the war, and you're out here breaking our flag, and like fucking huge fuss over this dumbass fucking flag.
Oh my god!
And I remember that. I remember this, like, you annoying, uptight little cunts. And just the way she would talk, like the guy's name was Sam. She would go, Sim. I fucking didn't like them. But someone called Magic Shark Wizard says, sorry for that, mate. No, we are really arrogant. I don't know if he's in Icelandic or New Zealand. Probably Icelandic.
I don't know. Matt, if you're listening to this, I'm not talking about you, Bob. I'm not talking about you. If you want me to I am willing to change my mind. If I ever end up in Iceland, take me, let's go party and hang out. Take me to your favorite spots, and I'll change my mind. I'll say publicly, I changed my mind. I apologize to Iceland. But as it stands right now, a lot of you guys pissed me off. So sorry, dog.
I'm sure I've known people from New Zealand since that time, maybe, but I just recall that. I even dated a girl from New Zealand at that time, around that time too. I remember very briefly.
Were you in New Zealand?
No, just Vancouver, Canada. I don't know why there was much of them around. I guess I don't know what the fuck, why they were there, but she was kind of annoying too. Yeah, just kind of. There was a big difference. What was her deal? I remember she. I was trying to be all gentlemanly. I think it was like the first date. So I didn't like, I thought I would be like, okay, well, just kind of kiss her for a bit and I'll leave or whatever, right? Didn't want to be a jerk or whatever. And I remember she was like, she got all angry. She's like, I can't even imitate their accent. She's telling me, I don't have any diseases. And she got all like angry with me and like immediately angry and pissy. And like, I just always have a problem with these people. Not Australians though, and they're pretty much the same people, aren't they?
Yeah.
I mean, maybe they don't like that talk either, but fuck them.
Well, the Icelanders are pretty much Irish. They're not even like really
Irish.
Scandinavian.
Well, they're Irish. Yeah. Irish, Nordics.
Yeah, they're kind of
more Nordic than Irish somehow. I know they took a bunch of Irish brides, but
yeah, they're kind of mixed.
They seem to be more Vikingish than Irish to me. I don't know how. I mean, they do the heavy drinking though. Says guy from V says Frody is Icelandic. I thought Frody was Swedish. I didn't know he was Icelandic.
I thought he was Faroese or something like that.
Oh Jesus, what the fuck?
Yeah, he's from. Yeah, isn't that what it's called? Faroese.
Yeah, Faroe Islands. But I thought people from the Faroe Islands had like bizarre Scottish accents or something.
Right? No, maybe it's not Faroe Island. Somebody in the chat correct me. I'm America. I don't know this kind of shit.
I don't know either. I mean, I don't know this shit either.
To me, foreigners
are
from
right.
like.
Someone says Vingo says, nah, Frody is Faroese. You're right, Faroese. Okay, so I guess Faroese are also. I knew they had a Viking heritage there, but somehow I thought they were sort of. I don't know. I should know this shit. Maybe I'm confused. Maybe I'm thinking some other islands.
We're triggering everybody in the chat right now.
Are we?
I don't know. It's all good. All right, I'll tell you who, like the people that I am Europeans I'm most racist against are like Slavs, like deep Slavs. Yeah, I don't really like Russians very much. Yeah, my favorite Slavs are the Polish. I like the Polish quite a bit, and like Czechs. I don't know if they count as Slavs. I like them, but like you get like deep Slavs, I'm not a fan. They're fucking crooks. Yeah, they're very cold. I don't really like cultures that are very cold and like off. Like aren't friendly because I don't know. I just
they are cold and they are unfriendly, but I've really come to like and respect them, to be honest, on myself.
Really,
maybe not all of them, but some of them, and I do have great respect for the Slavs and their ways. Just because they're unpredictable, and they are dark, and they won't. Yes, there's a coldness. There's a darkness and a coldness. Call it the Cold War face, the Cold War demeanor. I don't know, the behind the Iron Curtain demeanor, but they're probably like that before there was communism. But I don't know, you can appreciate it because beneath it all, they're actually really not like that, and they're often very artistic and really want you to, and they have a whole different view of things. They are often really into art, and they know everything about certain types of art and craft, and they would be like seriously into it in a very un-American kind of uncommercial way. I find, I don't know, very knowledgeable, generally very well educated and very self-sufficient. But like when you meet them superficially, briefly or whatever, they can definitely seem like rude and kind of, I know what you mean, like, rude and cold. All right, yeah.
And they're very stingy. They're very stingy people.
Probably, I guess. I haven't thought of it that way, but they're just like super practical, old school type people. I don't know. I've come to respect them because I think there's always a trade-off, right? The way they live and the way they have the last they have the last part of Europe that isn't totally fucking doggerel fucking, gone to total apocalyptic hell, basically. And we do have our freewheeling, fun and effervescence culture, let's say, but and theirs is a bit more closed off and dark and cold or whatever. But I think that's the trade-off you have to be slightly more protective and to cling to your values a bit more, even though they're partially destroyed by communism. There's always this kind of like this give and take where everything comes with its own sort of opposite and set of good and bad values with it. So they had the communism. They are partially sort of perpetually dour and destroyed because of that. But at the same time, that is the thing that somehow keeps them protected through what we're going through. So
there's like the permafrost.
We need to learn the Iron Curtain. Yeah, we need to be a bit more like them somehow. I don't know. And part of that probably has to be to I don't know if we have to assume that dour visage or what, but they do a lot of things right in terms of what we need people doing nowadays.
Yeah.
So
maybe it's probably just like a cultural thing because I'm an East Coast American. We're very straightforward. There's a lot of like for example, I don't want to say too much, talk bad about Germans too much, but Germans are a little weird to me. You know what I mean? They're like modern Germans. First of all, just about all of them have always told me to my face, "You're not really German. You're American." Right? It's like, dude, my real last name is German as hell. Like, you will find my last name. It's like Smith in Germany.
Yeah, Hitler.
That's part of the reason why I don't use it. It's part of the reason I don't use it is because it's so common. It's just like a common ass German last name. And but they're always like, you're not really German. It's like, okay, but the Africans in Germany that speak German, they're German, I guess, right? But another they have this they're very like they like cover their mouths when they laugh. They go they laugh with their mouths closed. And they do this thing that if you're too like they like, well, but yeah, let's hang out sometime or something. They'll say some sort of greeting thing, but they don't mean it. Right? That drives me nuts. That drives me nuts. Right? They're like, oh yeah, we should get lunch or we should hang out or have a beer sometime. And they don't fucking say that to me if you don't want to do it. You know what I mean? Just tell me to my face, like, look, dude, I don't really like you that much and I don't really hang out with you. I'm like, all right, well, fuck you, but okay. I appreciate that. Appreciate the honesty. Like, don't lie to me about how you want to fucking hang out. They do that. I'm not even lying. That's the thing that
I didn't have that experience with them. And to be honest, I do like Germans quite a lot, but they are unique. I know what you mean, especially like covering your mouth. They have like strict rules of politeness and behavior and stuff like it. And I actually do. I also like and admire that they've held on to that and that they've somehow done that. And even that silly stuff like that is really one of their main objections to the Auslander Raus, type. I think that's what allows them to be a bit more like that nowadays, is that they are such sticklers for the rule. Like, I know people that live there, an Irish woman that lives there, and she was telling me, like, she on her street, was I telling you this before? I might be repeating myself again. I apologize, but like her hedge in front of her house has to be precisely 1.4 meters high or something like that. And she's literally had her neighbors call like basically the police on her because it went to like 1.5 meters or something, right? So, they stick to the, So
that would drive me nuts.
I know it would drive you nuts, but I respect and admire them hanging on to that, that fussiness and like the rules, I don't know. I mean, that's them. That's the way they're meant to be. I'm so glad they're still like that. That's the way I see it. And I can, after living in Ireland, let's say, where it's so exactly the opposite, like compared to Canada or even America, where it's like, just do whatever you want, which is great. I'm all for that too, because I have that wild side in me as well. but I can appreciate someone who. I can appreciate the efficiency and the communal spirit of the other way as well, and it doesn't like upset me and make me think they're jerks so much. I think hurrah for them because it makes them efficient, and they're still the world's best engineers and stuff like that, precisely for those reasons, because they're totally pernicious or particular and fussy and timely and precise.
Yeah,
they're meant to be. That's what makes them good at being German. But I know what you mean. Yeah, it can seem like a pain in the ass, but they loosen up. They get fucking totally. Also, they can be big drinkers as well, and kind of. But they do it. Yeah, you're right. They have weird rules about things. But Italians are like that too. Real Italians are some of the fussiest rule-following people I've ever seen. It's like, oh, you can only have pizza on a Wednesday, and oh, I only have a little glass of wine. They don't. They will not. They're some of the least loose people I've seen, to be honest. Actual Italians. You go out drinking on a night here with an Italian, they'll have like 1.5, Guinness or something. Like, oh, that's it. I'm going to bed.
Yeah, there's
Norwegians or some of the others.
Yeah, there is some of that. Like it's different. You know what I mean? I guess I have a couple of those, right? There's some stuff because I grew up with Italian family, so I have a couple of those things, and my friends will bring it up to me. Like I get offended like when if I go to an event, like if you invite me over for some sort of get together and you don't have food, I will be offended. If we
you'll throw on the table like
if I make dinner or something, or if we go out to eat or whatever, something like that, and you tried so here's an example, right? So I had a get together at my house. We ran out of time. I didn't really have time to cook, so we ordered pizzas, right? A couple of the guys wanted to go get something else. They didn't want to eat pizza. They wanted something else. So they wanted to leave. This offended the fuck out of me. I was like, all right, don't come back. I was like I got mad. I told them, they're like, well, we're going to go get something. Oh yeah. So the pizza I'm getting ain't good enough for you. You know what? Go fuck yourself. Don't come back. So I said,
did you get ham and mushroom?
What, mushroom pizza?
Yeah, you were saying, remember it was on your Culture Dads. You're like, what's the best kind of pizza? Someone asked that or something like that. And you were like, ham and mushroom. And I was like, oh, shit, I was going to say the same thing.
Yeah.
Or pepperoni and mushroom. Or salami and mushroom. I don't know. Something like that.
Oh, you're talking the Canadian version.
No.
Yeah, Mike's his favorite pizza. I forget it's pepperoni and was it pepperoni and jalapeno mushroom? I can't remember what it was. It's like Canadian style toppings.
I would throw some olives on there too, bro.
Yeah.
Olives and maybe some extra cheese or something.
We're talking pizza. My absolute favorite pizza is classic margarita. That's my absolute favorite pizza. And if you guys ever come to Pennsylvania, and you find yourself in Philadelphia, one of the best pizzas in America is Angelo's. It's a place called Angelo's in Philadelphia. Everyone will tell you to go to Lorenzo's. Lorenzo's is cool. It's like a novelty because they got them big giant slices that are bigger in your head. That's cool. They got a pretty good pizza. But if you go to Angelo's, I have sent people from Italy, like Naples, to go have a slice of pizza, and they all say the same. They're like, this is different than a Napolese pizza. This is a different kind of pizza, but this is one of the best pizzas I've ever had. Angelo's Pizza in Philadelphia even impresses the Italians. So,
Jesus. Okay. Someone here says, Vingo says, pineapple on pizza is an abomination, but I know you, and I don't mind it either. I don't mind ham and pineapple, and you like it too, right?
I love, dude, ham and pineapple pizza is one of my favorites. I have had, I will try any, dude, the pizza is like the comfort food given to the world, and it is the most versatile thing. I have tried, dude, Philly cheesesteak pizza, chicken barbecue pizza. I've had Greek pizza. I've had freaking all kind of different pizzas. There's like
you ever have a taco pizza? Taco pizza?
I love it. It's great. I've had
great
bacon cheeseburger pizza. I've had some weird stuff too. I've had a Japanese pizza, had like squid and like eel sauce on it and stuff. I actually thought it was tremendous. I've had freaking, you name it. I've tried. If there's a weird pizza, I'm going to try it. Right. I think pizza is just such a wonderful, but classic is my favorite. After that, sausage and mushroom. I'm a sausage and mushroom guy.
That was it. Sausage and mushroom, not ham and mushroom. Sausage and mushroom. That is the best one. Yeah.
It's the best one.
Yeah, it probably is.
Yeah.
It probably is. But real Italians wouldn't do that probably, would they? Would they put even sausage on? I don't know. Like when I go, if you go to Italy, like they'd be pretty plain, and they would have amazing. It's all about the dough, I guess, really, and like you'd have like it would taste amazing. There wouldn't be like they wouldn't pile on the toppings either. That was the other thing. They actually eat a lot of seafood. They eat tons of seafood.
Yeah.
In Italy.
Yeah.
That's what I find, and they love it, and it's good. I mean, and shit. Yeah, it's great. I don't know how and they're all skinny and stuff. That's the other thing. They're like the French. They're not really. They stay thin, and they all some amazing food. Like holy shit.
Yeah, it was Vex Peril. Yeah, me too. Yeah, fucking check me out. Yeah, but Vex Peril in the chat says Calabria. Yeah, my mom's family are Calabrian. They came from Calabria, and the food in Calabria is actually pretty weird. It's not like Italian American food that you have here, where you got
what is it?
You know, they have, first of all, they eat a lot of their stuff is very, very spicy. They have a red chili that they just call the peppercino or something like that, and they put it in freaking everything. What's that called? The pasta alla bar. Yeah, it's spicy. Pasta alla barriata or something like that. I don't speak Italian, but it's like it's called angry sauce, and it's a red sauce, and it's got tons of these chilies in it. And if you're not a spicy guy, I'm a spicy guy. I love spicy food.
Oh, I like a bit of spice. I don't like Indian food though. But I like
Indian food's disgusting. Indian food's disgusting.
You agree, yeah? I'd like a lot of people love it. It just makes me feel like shit. It's like a pile of cream and like just crazy spice and like I don't know. I don't like it at all.
Yeah, it's first of all, Indian food is so overrated. It's for hipster, like self-hating white people that like have like xenophilia, and they just want to get jerked off about these exotic things. Indian food,
they want to literally have a hand job over there, fucking and they want to be jerked off into the Indian food and then consume it themselves. They're feeling shit and they want to cry about it while they're eating it. And they'll never have a fucking. You eat that every day, you never have a regular bowel movement in your entire life after that.
No,
no wonder they're shitting themselves all over the place. Fucking very standard.
You know what? I've been told for years how good Indian food. I've tried it up and down. I've gone to good places, high-rated places, recommended places. I've gone to random places. I've tried this dish, that dish. I've tried all of the dishes that are available at these Indian places. Indian food is schmutz on rice. It's overspiced, schmutz on rice. The meat, you can't even tell what kind of meat it is. It's third world crap.
Schmutz, is this a Levantine word? What's this word, schmutz?
No, it's a PA Dutch word.
Oh, shit.
Like
what does it
mean? Schmutz. It's just like some schmutz. You're schmutzed. You got some shit. It's just like some dirt or some filth or
Yeah.
It's like
Vex Peril says that curry tasted great. Here, have my country. Yeah. That's a normal person will actually think that. Like, hey, fuck, I need the curry. I must have the curry. I mean, I've been to fancy Indian places and I've had food that I thought tasted good, but invariably after I will feel like shit. I know that. Yeah. And I'm like, oh, this and what have I just consumed? Exactly. It seems like a mysterious bowl of shit. Like,
and after a while, after you taste their dishes, they all begin to taste the same. There's not really this whole thing
they want to liquefy everything with super spice and then like tons of cream or something like that, and then or oil anyways, and then mix it with rice, and that's it, right? Just about everything.
Indian food sucks. I'm not sorry. And great, like the British. Okay, so before we get you guys that are from other European countries that I was just talking shit on, I love you guys. Like straight up, it's nothing but love. Like I don't really dislike you guys. We got cultural. That's a beautiful thing that we have cultural differences that are so unique to our own things that we fucking kind of don't like each other a little bit. That's I love you guys, and I hope you guys crush it, and all that stuff. There's no ill will or nothing like that.
Yeah, me too.
The British with this whole the curry is the national dish, and on Twitter I see these like Englishmen like talking about how great curry is and how their food sucks. English cuisine blows out Indian food. English cuisine is great. Yeah. It's great.
Well, it's not. It's not as advanced as French or Italian. You can't say it is.
Absolutely not.
Yeah, but it is. Yeah, there is some good things for sure. Irish is more or less the same, slight variation. But yeah, it's like just comfort food stuff. Really, you have your roast and your fucking potatoes and your.
You can't beat it. You got your gravies and your pastries, your fish pies. You got your fried stuff. Yeah, your kidney pie. You got your cottage. You got your pies and casseroles and freaking Wellingtons.
Cottage pie, yeah. I had some yesterday. Yeah. Cottage pie, yeah.
Fantastic, dude. It's meat. It's meat and potatoes and vegetables. It's hearty. It's beefy. It's bold. It's robust. It fills your belly. It makes you feel good. Yeah, it's not hot cuisine. It's not French, Italian, and German. Those are the greatest cuisines in that order. French, Italian,
German. Yeah, German is great, and the German pastries. Oh shit! When I was in Germany, and even actually when you go, what they this is something I've been making for myself all the time. Like I would have, if I wanted like a sweetie drink, I mix apple juice with fucking either with water or sometimes with tonic water or something like that, right? Some fizzy water and apple juice. And everywhere you go in Germany, I forget what it's called. You basically get that, like they're drinking that like a fizzy apple juice or whatever, and it's great. It's excellent. But they have a whole kind of besides the schnitzel, which is amazing.
Yeah,
and like beef roulade and all this kind of shit, like
sauerbraten.
Yeah. But like the pastries and stuff, like the desserts, the what do you call them? The strudels and all this crazy shit. Like
fantastic.
It's very tasty.
It's wonderful
and hearty and tasty. It's actually kind of a mix. It's like a mix between the English and I don't know, the French maybe, or it's like a little bit more advanced than the English. Let's say it's hearty like that. It's sort of like peasanty, like I've worked all day, I'm gonna eat a fucking big meal and some pastry and shit, but absolutely. It's a bit fine, I don't know, haute cuisine as well.
The Germans they're just masters. They're masters of cuisine. They're everything from their main staples to all of their various sausages.
Everything was sausages. Yeah, when I was in the hotel there, and like with your breakfast, was just like fucking 5 different types of sausage. It was amazing.
Wonderful. It's wonderful. Yeah, I grew up in Pennsylvania. We eat German food. We eat pork and sauerkraut every New Year's. We have a million different types of sausages and bolognas and all this kind of stuff. We have soft pretzels. It's what we do here. German food and Italian American food and then we have some like Polish, like for example, we have pierogies here. It's like a Pennsylvania staple. So there's some other things that kind of get blended in there too. But like
pierogies, is like Russian or
it's like Polish. It's like it's a Polish.
Oh, Polish, yeah, right.
Yeah. So like the pierogies are a big PA thing, but like Germans come here and they're like, this is like German food. You guys are eating straight up German food. It's like, that's what we have here. It's just what I grew up eating. You just can't. The Germans are wonderful, and the Germans and Italians share a lot of kind of approaches to food with the deli stuff, the cured meats, the delicatessen, and then the Italian Italian deli. Forget about it. You got your prosciutto, you got your fucking sopressata, you got your salamis, you got your your mortadels, and a lot of this stuff is also found in German stuff. Mortadel is minced bologna for the Germans. It's like the same thing, right? I would say the mortadel actually beats it a little bit because it's it's got pistachios and lardons in it and stuff.
Yeah, it's pistachios. Yeah. Anything's better with pistachios. Everything is made better with pistachios, sweet or savory. Fucking pistachios, yes.
Absolutely.
Someone says Arthur Powell says Apfelsalt Schorl. What's that? I don't know.
What do you say? Where is it?
Apfelsalt.
Apfelsaft means apple juice.
Oh, okay. That's the drink. Yeah, sorry. Yeah, the drink I was having. I was on about. Yeah, it's good stuff. And Fress says also Brits used to spit roast everything. Even had a dog breed specifically to turn the spits. I didn't know this. What dog breed is that? You had a dog just to turn the spits. How would the dog not fucking grab the meat and run off? Any dog. There's no way. Yeah. Is that real? A dog used to turn the spit on the fucking spit roast.
And then we got
meat roasted on the spit roast. My friend who's a chef did that once. We had a party in Vancouver. This is a long time ago. And he's a chef, and he got I think a big thing of lamb, a thing of beef, and probably ham or whatever. Put them each in a bucket with whiskey, I think, or something overnight. Put them on the spit roast on the giant barbecue all day long at this party, and it was the best. I still remember it. I was like, just the meat experience. It was tasty.
Oh yeah.
Spit roasting is the shit.
Where I grew up, the pig roast is a very common, party. When someone's roasting the pig, you pull up, right? Pig roasts, lamb roasts, all that kind of stuff. You get a big animal and you put it on a stick and on a spit and you just roast it over coals all day long. And
John Gora says the stream has gone full foodie. Yeah, maybe we're talking too much about food. Shit.
I'm a food guy. Yeah.
I like a bit of food,
Yeah. Food's important. This is something I talk about on Culture Day. We did a whole episode about pizza. We talk about food a lot. Culinary arts is such an important part of culture and identity. You know what I mean? Speaking of Italians, I saw this video, right? People were posting on talking shit about it and stuff like that. It was this prank that guys were playing. They were in Naples and they're going around delivering pizzas with pineapples on them, which is like a blasphemy in Naples. You got to have the margarita pie, right?
Yeah.
And he's delivering these pizzas and people are going nuts, flipping out. Like, how dare you? People are fighting him. They're punching him. There's ladies ripping his shirt, smacking him in his face. Like, they're getting violent, squaring up over the pizza, right?
Yeah.
Here in the States, if you delivered me the wrong pizza, I'm like, it's all right. I'll fucking eat it. But I'm going to call and see if they give me a discount or something. It wouldn't be that big of a deal. Over there, it is an attack on their culture. And I was like, what are you guys making fun of these guys about? They're like, I'll leave it to the Italians to get all fucking sensitive and weird about pizza. Like making talking shit. I was like, no, dude, this is a sacred part of their identity, right? The pizza was like a gift to Queen Marguerite, right? During the unification of Italy. And it has the Italian flag with the basil and the sauce and the cheese. And it's like part of their soul and who they are.
Yeah, food. It's like if you will go to England and like, I'm going to put some pineapple in my fish and chips or whatever, something probably. Or
go fuck yourself.
Beef.
Yeah.
Like,
get the fuck out of here with that. Yeah,
it pisses me off.
That is good that people are willing to like punch somebody in the face because they insult their food.
It is. I know. Yeah, it is good. Yes,
that's a beautiful thing.
It is beautiful. I love it. Mr. Monty Fontaine says Spanish food kicks arse as well, and someone else says something about Spanish food. It does, yeah, and they have the whole other thing in Spain as well, yeah, and they do have crazy shit, and like it's very good. Yeah, they do a lot of cooking with wine and stuff, I think, and like,
a lot of seafood too. A lot of seafood in Spain.
Yeah, seafood and a whole other like cured meats and all that, different cheeses and shit.
The Portuguese also have great cuisine.
Yep, I think it's similar. I think they like more even more seafood and stuff. I think.
The Portuguese are very meat heavy, believe it or not. They have a lot of sausage and stuff like that.
Oh, do they?
It's almost German. It's almost German, the Portuguese.
There was a lot of Portuguese immigrants in the town where I grew up in Canada. And actually, I just remember the first time I saw someone eating octopus was at my friend's house. My friend, his original name was Bino. But he changed his name because I guess his name was Albino, which means basically white. Right. This is what his parents named him, and he decided to go by his middle name, Manuel. He didn't like this, I guess, Bino. I don't know, for whatever reason. Anyways,
that's a cool name. I'd be Bino.
I'd go by Albino. To this day, I call him either Man Bino or I sort of mix the names up or whatever because I can't go with this. Like, I've changed my name. Shit. I mean, like, fuck you. You didn't change your name.
Yeah, you don't get.
But like, I used to go to his house, and his mom would make octopus and stuff. And she'd even be eating like cold octopus on a plate or whatever. She'd just be eating the octopus. And I remember thinking it was gross, but I would eat it now quite happily. But that's the first time I saw someone eating something like that.
Really? I grew up eating octopus.
Well, you're fucking Guinea. In my Mick household, no one was eating octopus. I can tell you that. They would eat other fucking grisly shit, though. I remember my mother once eating a fucking cow's tongue, and that was fucking disgusting. I don't know what she was doing. She grew up on like a farm in Ireland, and she remembered this as some kind of delicacy, and she got it at the butcher's or something. And it's like, we're gonna have some cow's tongue, and it's fucking gross as shit.
It's not that bad.
To me, it was like you could taste you could feel the taste buds of the tongue as you're chewing on it.
You gotta cut that off.
It's like getting anesthetic on your tongue and like eating it in your mouth. It was like, fuck this.
Yeah, she didn't make it right. She didn't make it right.
Oh, probably not.
Yeah, here in PA, one of our big staples is pig stomach. They call it hog maw. They take a big old pig stomach.
I've heard of this. Yeah, I've
Yeah,
heard
you
of
take a
hog.
big old pig stomach and you load it with sausage and potatoes and like cabbage and onions and stuff, and you put it in a Dutch bag, Dutch bacon bag, and you bake it, and then some people fry it afterwards. Oh my god, people that aren't from here are like totally freaked out by it. But oh man, is it good, dude? I will. So here's the deal. I grew up like old country, like my mom's a Guinea, and then my dad's like old time Pennsylvanian. So they ate a lot of weird anything that flew, walked, or crawled or swam. We were eating it. So
is that from the old time Pennsylvanian side?
Oh yeah, they
just from like living out in the woods there, or what? Like just
yeah, they growing up in the mountains and everything like that. Another thing we eat here is called scrapple.
What was the weirdest thing you ate like that then? Like you were eating like squirrel and pigeon and shit, or like what?
I don't see. Yeah, we ate some of that stuff. Yeah, we eat like squirrels and obviously deer and stuff that you would hunt.
Great. Venison is great.
Fantastic. So it's like we didn't really eat a whole lot of like there's like some people that like try to flex their redneckness and they're like, oh, I fucking love groundhog or whatever. That's just disgusting. There's a reason.
What does it taste like?
It's just not good meat. It's just low quality meat. It's not a lot of meat. It tastes like dirt. It's really fucking gamey.
Like dirt.
If I'm hungry, I'll eat anything. I'm not one of these people that's like, I can't eat tomato. I'm not a picky person. If I'm hungry, I'll eat whatever you got. Right. But if I have the choice, obviously I'm not going to eat no fucking groundhog. That's like peasant, like starving Great Depression shit.
Groundhog. Yeah. I don't know. Yeah. You would think it would lean on the meat. All right. And like, so it literally tastes like dirt because they're in the dirt all day. Is that the way it is?
Yeah. I don't eat.
Squirrels are just like rats in the trees, really. I don't know. What does a squirrel taste like? I never had that.
It tastes like, what's the cliche?
Just gamey, whatever.
No, it's squirrel is not offensive at all. The problem with squirrel is there's like no damn meat on them. Same thing with rabbit. What's a good way to prepare squirrel or rabbit is just bust the legs off and the parts and fry it like chicken. You know what I mean? So you got these little tiny, it's like frog legs or something.
Right. I never had those. I never ate frog. Did you have frog legs?
Yeah, I've had frog.
What's it like?
It's frog is similar to gator. It's like a fish fucked a pig. It's like halfway between pork and fish somehow.
I don't know. Like pork in the end. Yeah, everything tastes like pork in the end. I was just watching a video, one of those Haitian videos, some guy cooking and eating some other guy's leg in the street. And it was just like he's peeling the cooked meat off the guy's leg, and it looked like, I don't know, Jesus Christ, I don't know what. Sort of like pork, beaten pork. I don't know. Shit.
Some of that.
And he was like licking his fingers. He's eating it and licking his fingers. Yeah. It was just like, oh my god.
Got some of that long pig.
Yeah, the long pig. The long pig. Yeah, that's a long pig. Yeah. Good. Oh, someone says the turnspit dog is an extinct short-legged shit. So because the turnspits went out of style, the dog went extinct. The turnspit dog is an extinct, short-legged, long-bodied dog bred to run a wheel called a turn. Okay, yeah. So it went extinct. Shit. Imagine breeding a dog. That's amazing shit that used to go on. If you needed something for a function, you need something to perform a function like that. You merely bred an animal to perform it for you.
That's awesome.
Which is amazing. I just spent a couple generations breeding this animal into using evolution to create the ultimate worker for exactly what I need.
Yeah, I gotta say, like, England is one of the places that I would love to go to. If I ever get a chance to go to like the motherland of Europe and visit the old world, England is a place that I work with a lot of the Englishmen with the Bizarre Archives and stuff, and they're just such great people. And what a beautiful place, the British Isles. People from the British Isles they're very special people, and I'm really rooting for them with everything that's going on. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Oh, it's great. Yeah, and they have it bad at the moment. Yeah, they have it real bad at the moment. Jesus Christ! But I guess bad and good in a way. But I don't know. We're all the same.
I want to try some of them kidney pies with the gravy that they have. The pies
Good.
and mash.
The meat pies are good. Yeah.
In
the meat pies are good. Yeah.
Drink some of that warm beer they got and hang out and listen to them fucking do them chants where they yell about soccer or whatever. That's what I want to get involved with.
You should watch some Morris dancers or something.
What is it?
Morris dancers? You don't know that? The pagan thing. It's old custom.
Is that where they hold the deer antlers and they do the?
Yeah, they paint their faces black and they do a little dance and they're like, funny little outfits, long socks and shit. Morris dancing. Awesome. Yeah. There's a lot of that. Even here, there's a lot of that stuff that still goes on, like pagan stuff. I was just watching a show there in Cork, Wexford, or maybe it was Wexford, and they still have a tradition of like musicians. They dress up sort of like witches, like with crazy outfits, and they go. You have to go to the neighbor's house, and you're playing music as you approach the house, and they have to let you in. It's like the custom, and they have to give you a drink of liquor or something like that. And like at certain times of year, like. There's the one there's the Ren which is like Boxing Day, St. Stephen's Day, but there's several other times a year you can do this, whatever it is. I don't even know, like, because you don't see it going on here in the city in Dublin, and they just dress up like it's very Wicker Man. They just dress up and start playing music down the street, and then you bang it on your door, and you have to let them in and give them a drink. You can't turn them away.
It's like, bring us some figgy pudding now. Bring us some figgy. I always like that part of that song because it's like it's a threat.
Yeah, that's the way it is. That's where trick or treat Halloween comes from. It's all the same shit. That's the basis of it. Is you apparently for some pagan thing to dress up as animals or crazy characters, but you're supposed to play music and march down the street and then walk into people's houses and they have to give you stuff.
Here in PA, they do certain towns do the Krampuslauf, like everybody dresses up like Krampus, and
ever since the old days. Like,
yeah, it's very old. Yeah, Krampus.
So it's a different version of it, then, is it? It's evolved in its own way, or what?
I guess it's sort of the same thing. We also have, like, if you're Pennsylvania Dutch, if you're like old time, Santa Claus is Belschnickel, right? Belschnickel, and you have Schwarzpeter. Really? Yeah.
Okay, and what's the difference? Is he dressed different, or?
Yeah, he's kind of he wears like more colorful clothes, and he's a little bit more grim. He's not. Yeah. So Christmas for the Pennsylvania Dutch is like a little bit spooky, right? It's when you get this idea of American Christmas, it's very very bright and happy, and dreaming of a white Christmas. Yeah, it's like.
Yeah, I heard you do that one. You did that one, I think, didn't you?
Yeah, I did. I love those songs. But for in PA, it's got like this kind of weird undercurrent of old spooky alpine kind of stuff. It's like there's a lot of like spooky traditions and things you got to do to like ward off spirits, and it's only really if you're like an old blood Appalachia German and you got that, right? So it's you got to eat certain things to keep away this. You got to leave gifts out for the spirits, for the whatever. It's kind of understood that the ancestors come back and they're pissed off. Kind of. It's not like really codified anywhere, but it's just old timey superstitions. A lot of people don't realize Americans in some ways are more old-timey than modern Europeans. Not all, but some. We have some things because in the United States we didn't really have that wave of progressivism that came. Yeah. We kind of went from fire and brimstone, old-time Anglo-Protestants fighting Catholics to like what we are now, right? Our grandparents were like spooky old-time religious people. We didn't have a period of like atheism and secularism. That's supposed to be us, right? So and actually this gets pointed out we had the Folkish Summer Halloween like last month, right? It's like the biggest event on the East Coast. My buddies Folkish Summer Halloween. It's a big pagan event, a big festival that we have every year. Oh,
you sent me pictures of this, did you? With the little gold, the little man and stuff. Yeah.
Yes, sir.
Yeah.
The gold effigies. But we had a guest from the Netherlands come. A friend of mine, he helps work with the Bizarre Archives. Dutch guy, young guy, Dutchman came, and he's like, dude, there's so much stuff that you guys do that's so fucking old timey and weird. And it's like Europeans in contrast are much more like new school. And he said the Americans are so much more aware of like their ancestry. Like we trace our great grandparents. We know who our ancestors are and stuff like that. And they have a lot more reverence for that. There's a lot more kind of like old timey, like social conservative things that we have. Like he was like getting dressed in the middle of the room in front of everybody in his underpants, and everybody yelled at him and told him he's being like, dude, what are you, fucking homo? Like, get out of here with this. And he's like, why is that? You know, we do. I guess in the Netherlands, that's not a big deal. People just get naked in front of each other. It's not here. That's like, you don't do that. You go find somewhere to get dressed. You don't get in your underpants in front of other men, or we're gonna think you're a homo. You know what I mean? And that was like that was like a culture shock for him.
I'm so ungay. I wouldn't even think of like, that's a gay thing to do. But yeah, you just reminded me of something. My friend Dallas, he's from this town Trail near when I grew up in British Columbia, and his relatives he had some Italian connection. I assume they were mostly Italian, but they had a big family get together, and he explained it to me. And you was talking about the guy getting naked there. I just reminded of it, and I expected it to be all very Italian, but apparently they just listened to the fucking Irish Rovers super loud and got wasted. And at one point, he said his granny was eating chip dip out of his cousin's ass. Like he sprawled out naked on the table, put chip dip in his ass, and his granny started dipping her chips in the chip dip out of his ass.
That would never happen here, bud.
So that's a family get together, if I ever heard one. Apparently, they were Italian, but he said they just listened to the fucking Irish Rovers all night. Wasn't that a party?
It sounds like a Canadian thing, maybe.
I don't know. I mean, it sounded pretty unique all around. But you're talking
I'll tell you
what, getting naked and shit.
I'll tell you what, I like the Canadians too. Canadians get hated on too much. I think the Leafs are good folk. They're
it was an interesting place to grow up, and it was very wild, very close to nature. Let's say you were in the mountains there was bears all over the place, and
Canadians are like Englishmen that suffer from isolation a little too much, and they get a little bit. There's like this kind of like quirky social awkwardness that goes with Canadian stuff. Like if you're like that the band Tragically Hip that nobody in America has ever heard of, right?
Them, yeah.
Like,
I remember that.
They're so fucking weird. They're completely fucking weird. The Canadian comedy is fucking bizarre. It's just so there's like this kind of faux pas in Canadian, because Canadians almost have English sensibilities, right? Where Canadians say sorry about everything. Like, oh, I'm sorry about this. Sorry. Like it's like
I don't do that, do I?
No, you don't do that as much, but like real Canadians do. They're very socially conscious. So to them, social awkwardness is very absurd, right? And it shines through in their comedy quite a bit. And it might not be noticeable to you or to maybe even other Canadians, but to me, I pick up on, I see it because, I don't know. It's Canadians are very, very, still very English in the way that they are.
They are more, yeah. And we would grow up like even when I connect a lot with the people from England, some of the same people you were talking about that you wanted to visit, in fact, because even we grew up on the BBC in Canada. It would really be played all the time, all the old BBC shows back when it was good, not the fucking terrorizing train of hermaphroditic bullshit it is now.
Yeah,
but it was actually good back then. So we there was definitely. I mean, the Queen is on the money, and her picture is up on the walls in the buildings, where in the schools and the courthouses. So it is like that. But it's more like there's long winters up there, and there's a lot of snow. Like I used to jump off my roof of my parents' house into the front garden and be buried up to my tits in snow. Like just I could do that like in any random winter month, right? So there'd be like a lot of snow, and you're like really snowed in. And you'd be doing a lot of drinking, just like hanging around indoors. Hey, we're snowed in. What are you gonna do? And I don't know. It was interesting. Yeah, it's like rednecky in a unique way, I think.
Yeah.
But also very English and kind of, I don't know. It's weird. Yeah, it's a unique thing. I figure it's kind of lost almost because part of the Canadian identity was proving how liberal they were compared to Americans, and so they went extra liberal. And Trudeau was such a fucking disaster. Like they went full beyond Sweden, even.
Yeah.
That
That
kind
is
of
something.
fucking destroyed the place.
Yeah, it's like because Canada is very influenced by American culture, but also America is very influenced by Canadian culture. Canadians are also another people that really punch above their weight when it comes to art and entertainment and stuff. How many like great bands? Absolutely. Absolutely. There's so many music movements that happened in America that were influenced by the Canadians. Prog rock, grunge rock, various types of like
okay, prog rock, Rush, obviously, but what grunge rock? How was grunge rock influenced by Canadians? Just from being
the stuff that came down into Seattle is originally from Canada.
What was it? Like what?
I can't remember. You got to talk to my boy Mike. He has the whole lineage. He talked about it. It actually blew. Yeah. And I looked it up. He's right.
Mike, is this Mike from the
from Imperium Press? Yeah.
Yeah. He's Canadian. I forgot. Is he from BC? Where's he from?
I can't remember.
You don't know. You don't even know. You wouldn't even know.
I know.
I might as well say, is he from Mars?
I know British Columbia, right? That's BC. You got the Newfies that are on the East Coast, the maritime guys, and they're like the crazy guys, right?
Let me tell you a funny story about Canada. I lived in Halifax, near Newfoundland, for 3 years. So I have a bunch of friends from there, and it was a great place. They're all hard drinkers. There was a lot of like rockabilly guys and stuff.
That's like Trailer Park Boys, those guys.
Yeah, Trailer Park Boys, all that shit. I knew guys that knew all those guys, and all those guys are red pilled. Don't ask me why. And the West Coast, my BC friends, they're like apolitical, indifferent. But all the Halifax guys are totally red pilled, and like I don't know what's the story with that. Some East Coast, West Coast, fucking bizarre thing. So Lily is in the chat. That's actually fucking Michi. She's talking stupid shit, saying, "I don't like you guys. I think you might be gay. Have you ever had sex? Fuck you."
Yo, Michi is a troll. She's trolling. Yeah, I fuck with Michi. I have an ex-girlfriend that she's like, she reminds me of her with her sense of humor and this kind of the scumbag shit that she puts out there to get people worked up. Yeah. She's like posted naked ladies. She's a troll. You know what I mean?
She's busy.
Yeah,
she's working hard. She's growing up. She's on the prowl. So you just fucking watch out. But yeah, as far as in Canada, I mean, how did we describe it? How do I remember growing up. My earliest memory of Canada, because I lived here until I was 7, and we moved to British Columbia. So my first memory being there, an early memory I have that I still think about often, was going up into my back garden, because our house behind our house has vanished into a hill, into a mountain, into the trees, and I remember walking up there through the snow to chop down a Christmas tree. Just go up and there's trees everywhere. It's like, oh, we're gonna get a Christmas tree, and we just walked up with the axe or I guess the saw. I don't remember. Took down a tree and dragged it down, and I just moved from Ireland. I was still a kid. I was like, I'm gonna trudge through the snow that's like up to my waist and drag. Like it was a steep hill too, so it was great because we had toboggan runs up there. So you just go in the backyard and you could toboggan down the hill all winter long. But does that sound Canadian or what? It sounds like a nice little nature, but so much of it was like that. You're always outside, or even our parties were always outside, like fires in the woods and stuff.
I went on vacation to Canada when I was a kid. I just loved it. I thought it's just beautiful, man.
Where'd you go?
We went to Ontario, because where I'm at in Pennsylvania, Ontario is like, if you go 6 hours northwest, you're in Ontario. You know what I mean? It's just right across Erie, Pennsylvania.
I haven't been to Ontario much. I actually don't know anything about it.
Yeah, you go across, Erie, Pennsylvania, Lake Erie. You go across Lake Erie, you're in Canada. Canada's not that far from me.
Yeah, right. You should go up there more. Talk to my Canadian pals. You should go see my Halifax buddies. That's if I come down there. I was thinking about like maybe coming down there, New York or something. I would meet some of my buddies from Halifax from when I was there, and yeah, you'd like them. They're pretty wild guys. They're old school. All their stories are about like crashing cars and like being drunk and driving off the road into the woods and like, oh yes, my Camaro was lost down the hillside and vanished in the stream. Or a million fucking stories like that.
Yeah, somebody's saying in the chat, I don't know. Fingal saying I don't know the difference. I do know some of the difference. Okay, I know that like Alberta is like on the west coast, right? You got Alberta.
Well, it's next to BC. It's western. There's no coast. It's not on the ocean or anything.
What's the west coast? That's freaking
That's British Columbia. Yeah.
I thought British Columbia was on.
If you drive up from like Washington through British Columbia and eventually into Alaska if you follow the west coast.
Okay.
So you could drive down the west coast from Alaska to fucking California, right?
Okay, maybe I don't know the difference.
Oregon coast. Why? You should know that shit.
Yeah, he's right.
Come on.
I don't know what the fuck I'm talking about. I know Ontario's like right there. That's like the place that all Americans know. And then I know the Trailer Park Boy place, right?
Halifax. It's Halifax.
Yeah.
Newfoundland is the island off the coast of Halifax. There's a lot of Irish immigrants there. Everyone actually has an Irish accent. Halifax too.
And then you got Quebec, which is the French people.
Yeah. Quebec and what's the other one? Shit. Oh Jesus, I forget. Yeah, there's another province that's also French, or like partially French. Oh fuck, I can't even think of it. Someone in the chat tell me.
So you don't even know. You don't even fucking know.
I'm getting drunk now. I am getting drunk. We're entering the stage where I'm going to go into like a long, boring monologue about something. Something I think is deeply philosophic and esoteric is going to be boring and gay.
I actually like the Canadian food up there. I liked it. Yeah, the beaver tails, like the pancakes or whatever. Those are real lit. Obviously, everybody says the poutine. The poutine is, I know it's like the stereotype Canadian thing, but
it's good.
It's fucking great. It's cheese curds with gravy.
Yeah, it's good. Yeah,
you can't beat it. The snacks, that stuff that you guys call pepperoni that isn't really pepperoni.
The pepperoni sticks, is it? The fucking
it's like a bologna. It's not a pepperoni, but it's still good. It's really good. I had some great food up there. You guys got lots of great snacks. The ketchup chips. The Americans are now catching on to the ketchup chips.
Oh, they don't know the joy of the ketchup chips. Is that still going? I wouldn't have had those since I was like a teenager. Jesus. Ketchup chips. I forgot. Is that still going?
Yeah, of course. And dill pickle chips. You got the different weird flavors of chips. They're great. They're fantastic. Also,
okay. Do you want to know the real deep Canadian lore?
Let's hear it.
Beer and clam. You ever have that?
Is it beer steamed clams?
Beer and clamato juice.
Oh, really? No, I have not. I do like clamato juice.
It's we used to go to the bar in my little town, and like all night long, we were like, we had a system where we'd go to the bar, we could just go and we'd slam our hands. We'd actually go like this. You can't see me because the camera, but like you pretend to draw pistols from your hips, and you bring them up like guns, and you go shabam, beer and clam, and he delivers a beer and clam to you, and it's beer and clamato, beer and tomato juice with fucking clams in it.
I'll try.
It's tasty.
I'm a big fan of you guys have the Bloody Marys cocktail.
Oh, yeah.
That's
everyone has those.
No. Really? I thought that might have been just an American thing.
Fress says Brendan is starting to slip into the Canadian accent more. Do I? Is that what I do? I mean, I don't know that. If I have any kind of, I'm getting more drunk. Is that it? Like, and I don't think I slip into a Canadian accent. I just get more talking my unusual way. Even for a Canadian, I talk in an unusual way. That was
Ulfric says the milk in the bag.
But my unusual way of talking that you were laughing about, me like talking fast and cutting people off and shit, right? Is probably because I lived here till I was 7, right? So I remember having an Irish accent and being teased for it in Canada when I was a kid.
Really?
Right? Yeah. So I had to like I went totally the reverse, and then I got a Canadian accent, but like it probably always affected me in this kind of weird way. That's probably why I talk like in a weird way.
That's
For that
interesting.
reason.
That's
Probably.
interesting. Ulfric says about the milk in the bag. Yeah, that's a weird thing the Canadians do. The milk
We never
in the
did that.
bag.
Yeah, I remember seeing the milk in the bag. Yeah.
That's weird. That's weird.
Yeah, well, you wouldn't. Yeah, you'd see some weird shit that you wouldn't really take part in. Let's say.
Nah.
You know what is the good stuff? I got pictures. You know what? Like on my Twitter, I got my profile picture is like me holding a rock and I'm underwater. That's something we did every summer. We called it kerplunking. We go down to the local lake and you just pick up a boulder and you walk under the water and it's like moonwalking. You're like, you hold your breath while holding a boulder. You're just walking. It could be like a bunch of like 4 or 5 of you. And just like you're like bouncing along. It's great fun. I highly recommend it. Yeah, it's so easy. Fun. Like it's so much fun. And you have a contest to see who can hold their breath the longest. Good stuff.
Oh yeah, that's good old.
There's Canadian lore for you. That's the old school Canadian lore. It was like Twin Peaks without the supernatural danger.
I've actually never seen Twin Peaks. People have been recommending it to me for a long time.
I don't believe it. David, that is
I've never seen it. I actually never heard of it until like recently. Never even heard of it. Yeah, I never heard of it.
Really?
Yeah.
David Lynch.
I know David Lynch is. I just never seen Twin Peaks. Actually, the first time I ever heard of it was on Frody's thing. Is the film festival he does. The Cameron. Right. Somebody covered Twin Peaks. I was like, what's Twin Peaks? Yeah.
Oh my God. You've got to watch that. I mean, you would love it. Holy shit.
I gotta see it. I gotta see because folks say it's
no, this is like obscene. This is news. Like my mind is blown. David, I'm shocked.
I never heard of it. And I guess it was never on air here or something. I don't know. I missed it. I missed it.
How can this be?
Yeah. I like that kind of stuff. I like because I'm an X-Files guy. I loved X-Files. And I loved like Outer Limits and stuff like that.
I was watching Outer Limits before I came out here. Would you believe? I was watching it. It was actually a shitty one though. It was an old one with like it was like Captain Kirk guy. What's his name? Shatner. But he's like he went on a mission to Venus or something, and he's getting all hot. He comes back and he's like turning into a Venus person. It was shitty. It wasn't very good. Okay. Not clever. Not good. I would reject that story if someone sent it into Asia.
Really?
I would say fuck you with your amateur bullshit. That's the thing with even when I was before, like I bought a bunch of analogs before I started Aegeon because I knew I had a recollection in my mind of these old magazines from when I was a kid. So I bought a bunch, researching before I started, right? I was actually amazed by how many of them were actually quite poor as well. It's same, we ourselves published the odd story where we're like, oh, I'll give this guy a chance, or this kind of, there's reasons involved, right?
Yeah.
Even though you don't feel it's like the best thing in the world, like once in a while, but like there was a lot of that back then. Like so, the same publication that originally published Dune, which is extremely popular and well, considered, etc. It was publishing some extremely amateur shit as well. So, you really should see Twin Peaks. It's really like obscene. It's upsetting that you have not seen this.
I'll watch it. I promise I'll watch. We'll do a whole Culture Dads on it. Yeah, because that's been requested for Culture Dads for like fucking.
Yeah.
Also, I gotta address up in the chat. Fingal is trolling me right now. Says Arius Press. Has Dave ever heard of a show called The Sopranos? Fingal. Like I know that I know about Sopranos. Come on.
Twin Peaks is better than Sopranos. Twin Peaks is possibly the best television series that ever was.
You're gonna make me not watch it now.
Well, listen, I'm telling you, I can say that without you, and it won't even affect your viewing pleasure. But like, okay, there's a point where you watch the first season, it just gets better and better. Watch the beginning of the second season, even better. But then there's a whole period. Then the second half of the second season descends into this boredom and stupidity, and is useless until the very, very, very ending of the second season. And then, of course, he's got the new shit he did, and I probably would not even bother with that. Really, there's some interesting stuff in it, but it's irrelevant overall.
Sopranos is a masterpiece.
Sopranos is good, but this is better. This is better, undoubtedly better. Listen, I'm telling you. What do you, you haven't even seen it? I'm telling you.
I'm like offended.
What you've got to see it. You've got to see it. Okay, what are your favorite TV? What are your favorite TV shows of all time?
Sopranos #1.
Top 10. Let's say give me a top 10.
Top 10. Sopranos. No order, but Sopranos. Let's throw X-Files in there. Let's throw greatest series of all time. I do like HBO's Rome. That was fantastic.
Oh, that was good. That was amazing.
Fantastic. Up until the last episode.
That was fucking what's his name? Milius produced that.
Did he really?
Yeah, he produced it. And in fact, when I talked to her, Amanda Milius, she said he was in there like big time. Like his hands are all over that.
Dang, I didn't know that.
That's why it's so good, I think. Yeah. Honestly, yeah.
Up until the last episode, because HBO is notorious for ruining shows, their last fucking episodes. Oh my God, terrible. Top shows of all time. Can I throw in like cartoons and shit too?
Whatever you want, yeah.
I would put top shows of all time.
It's hard. Top 10 list is hard. I should have said top 5. I could, if you asked me that, I'd be like stumbling too. I don't know.
I would put Star Trek Next Generation in there.
Yeah.
Yeah, I would put Breaking Bad in there. I know that's kind of like it's like might as well be a retelling of The Sopranos, but put that in there. I do. Yeah, let me think. Freaking,
it's hard. I know. If you were to ask me right now, I'd be like, fucking. I'm trying to think right now. Shit, I posed to you like a very difficult question.
Yes.
Sorry.
Yep. I'm thinking of like all the sci-fi stuff, like Babylon 5, or Battlestar Galactica. I would put that in there. The newer one. I like that quite a bit. Let me think here. Oh man, I can't even think of. If we're gonna do, I think Trailer Park Boys is brilliant. I know that it's like a comedy, silly nonsense show, but the characters in there are just so excellent, right? It's so clever. One of my favorite shows of all time, Dragon Ball Z. Dragon Ball Z. I know another animated show that I fell in love with. What? Avatar: The Last Airbender. What a wonderful!
I never saw that.
Wonderful series. Yeah,
I don't even know. I have no clue what that's about.
It came out on Nickelodeon. It's an animated show. It came out in like the 2000s, and I watched it with my kids one off, and I was like, "This is brilliant. This is actually brilliant." Let me think, man. Guys, help me out in the chat because I'm like drawing a blank. I like I like Firefly quite a bit.
I never actually saw that either. I know some guy who was always raving about it. I remember
Farscape. Farscape was great. Right. Those old 90s sci-fi series were they were all great. Dexter, I didn't love Dexter. I thought the first season was good, and after that I fell. Deadwood, I didn't really love Deadwood. I didn't love Boardwalk Empire. Oh, Pillars of the Earth from Showtime. It was like 4-part. It wasn't a real full series, but that was really good.
Didn't see that.
What was it? Let's do Twilight Zone.
Yeah.
Tremendous. Somebody said, I don't like Buffy the Vampire Slayer. I thought that was freaking Kevin Sorbo Hercules. I love that show. What a great show. What a great show.
Right.
It was remember it was Xena and then Hercules were on. They were great. Dude, yeah. Somebody said Miami Vice, OG Miami Vice was a great show.
Yeah, that was good. I never knew that was apparently Michael Mann directed a lot of those. I didn't know that. Did you?
No, I didn't know
Michael Mann?
No, yeah. I know the.
That's
what else did he do?
Michael Mann? Oh, he did fucking I know he did like Manhunter, which was like the original Hannibal Lecter movie and stuff. Michael Mann. What else has he done? Shit, I better look it up. He's done. I know he's like done good stuff that I'm all for. Let me find it. Michael Mann. I was getting confused with the guy who directed like what's the Russell Crowe movie where he's fighting Napoleon on the seas and stuff. I always get Michael Mann confused with that. He's also a classic director. Picnic at Hanging Rock. He did. Michael Mann. Let me see. His most acclaimed works include the films Thief, Manhunter, Last of the Mohicans, which is very good, Heat, The Insider, Ali, Collateral, Public Enemies, and Ferrari. And he's known for his role as executive producer of Miami Vice. So he was. But Manhunter and Last of the Mohicans is a great movie. You ever see that?
Yeah, of course.
Sliders.
Sliders.
Okay.
Stargate SG-1. Yeah, man. A lot of these. I'm like looking them up. These are great. These are great shows. Gargoyles was a great animated show.
Oh, I remember that. That was good, yeah. You know what show I liked was Thundar the Barbarian. You ever see that?
Oh, of course. That was great.
That was classic.
Tremendous.
Or Black Star. Remember Black Star? You ever see Black Star?
Yes, I do remember Black. Now we're getting into deep cuts.
That's good shit.
That's old, man.
Old school cartoons, yeah. But Black Star and Thundar had good, solid fantasy sci-fi themes going on.
Yeah,
it wasn't just like fucking bullshit, Care Bears bullshit. You know, it was like kind of serious. Like,
dude, so did He-Man. He-Man had some good storylines in there.
Did it? Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely.
I felt it was a bit compromised. I always felt He-Man was kind of like a slight mockery somehow, like Conan and stuff.
Oh, here's one.
Even the name He-Man, like it's kind of.
What was the one? It's an older show. Something Shadows.
Dark Shadows. That was a great show.
Dark Shadows.
That was a great show. I remember
Tremendous
that. Yeah.
Show.
Fucking what was the guy that was the bad guy, and the actor? There's a guy in Dark Shadows before the vampire comes on the scene. There's like a guy who's Burke Devlin was his name. He's the Mr. Sinister guy. And Burke Devlin's coming on, and the actor who plays Burke Devlin is the great actor, and he was the bad guy in Lethal Weapon. The main bad guy. He gets blown up at the end. He's like reaching for the grenades. He gets blown up in the car. Remember that?
Yeah, I know who you're talking about.
That guy. Yeah, he was in like a few movies and things. Good actor. And he was like, before there's like two stages of Dark Shadows. I didn't see all of it, but there's the Burke Devlin stage, and then afterwards they transitioned into this. Oh, this actual vampire comes on the scene. What was his name? Barnaby something.
Yeah,
that was good.
Yeah, that was good. I'm trying to. I'm like looking them up here. There was so many great
Peter Weir. That's right. Peter Weir. It did Picnic at Hanging Rock and Master Commander. Yeah, I somehow for some reason get him mixed up with Michael Mann, and I don't know why. But Peter Weir is a superior director, to be honest. I mean, for Picnic at Hanging Rock alone, which is have you seen that?
I have not.
Oh, Jesus. Another one you've got to see. It's eerie. Incredibly eerie. It's just bizarre. Very strange film.
There was so much good stuff back in the day. I'm like looking through.
Yeah.
I liked so many of these shows. There were so many great ones back in the day.
The coverlet of darkness has been drawn over you. You're no longer the evangelist, glowing white, angelic. When Dave first came on, before I went live, I thought it was like I thought he had special effects going on. He was like shining white. It was like a brilliant white. Sunlight was beaming off his shirt in my face, and I was like, "Holy like Dave is in heaven. He's died and he's coming back to give one last podcast."
Now I'm cloaked in the shadows here.
Now you're in the shadows.
Let me see
where I was all this time because I'm ahead of you in the earth. I've been in darkness since before we started this because I am ahead of you in time.
There was a lot of cornball shit that was out too during that time. Your Friends, Charmed, this stuff was. There was some good kids. Do you remember The Adventures of Pete and Pete?
No, I didn't see that.
That was
I'm older than you by a good bit, and I was in Canada, so
yeah.
In terms of
That was a good show. There's a lot of good shows back then.
I remember hearing a country band once saying they were about to start a show, and they were like, "Do you remember when there was only 3 channels and everything on it was good? Now we have a million channels and everything is shit."
Yeah.
I was like, "Yeah, I do remember that." In Canada, we had 3 channels: it was CBC, BBC, and then like a couple of American channels like NBC and CBS or something like that.
Mm-hmm.
And we get those as well.
Yeah. So top 5, let's do top 5. I would say Sopranos, X-Files. I would put Dragon Ball Z in my top 5 as far as like personal fit. I loved Dragon Ball Z. That might be a corny or weird pick or like whatever, but that show, and I'm not a Japanime guy. I don't really like Japanime at all. I think it's gay. I think it tunes people out. I think it's there's a Japanime to sodomy pipeline because
it seems to be. I don't know what that's about, but there seems to be.
I have a theory.
Japanime to fucking transsexual pipeline.
Yeah,
a little bit somehow.
I actually have a theory if you're interested on why that is.
Let's hear it. Yeah.
So, the Japanese have a much more narrow sexual dimorphism than Westerners do, right? European men are much taller than European women. We have broader shoulders, deeper voices, bigger beard. We are much more different than our female counterparts. The Japanese have a much more narrow sexual dimorphism. Men look a little bit closer to women. Now, I'm not saying the Japanese are feminine. There's no disrespect to the Japanese, right? They have great cuisine, great culture. I respect Japanese culture. I really do. I think they're great people. I think they're fantastic people.
Absolutely.
I love their food is delicious, by the way.
Oh, but, amazing. It's insane. Insane.
It's wonderful. It's like the Japanese, the Koreans, and also the Vietnamese have a lot of really delicious cuisine that is very familiar to a Western tongue. Or I would say that is palatable or that is not abrasive to a Western palate, right? Very simple flavors. They don't go. It's not schmutz on rice. You know what I mean? They have a lot of nice noodles and dumplings and bright flavors mixed with robust, oily kind of stuff with their sauces and everything. I love Japanese food. I think it's fantastic. I think Korean food is fantastic too.
There was a good show on Netflix, all about some kind of Japanese diner, and it had a classic Japanese star from the old shows, and he was just like the chef, and then like a late night diner, and people would come in. Tell their little stories, and he make them some dish. So they would focus on their stories and also whatever little funny dish he was making. And you see all the different interesting Japanese cuisine. And what was it called? I think it was called like something like Late Night Diner or something. But it was good. You'd like it.
I would. I love food programs where they do deep dives into food and anything culinary related. I'm very fascinated by culinary culture. I think it's a very overlooked, beautiful thing about the human experience. But what was I talking about? Anime. So because of the sexual dimorphism, for the Japanese, it's not a big deal. They can watch it and it feels natural to them. But for a Western mind, when we watch it, it crosswires us because the boys and the girls look too similar, right? It's not good for your mind. And then you start getting too far into the culture where they also have like this, what's it called? It means cute in Japanese.
No. I should know this because I live there, but I can't remember.
What's it called? I forget. It's like it's a cultural thing for them because they're very much enchanted by things that are childlike and youthful.
Kawaii, someone says.
Kawaii. That's it. And to them, it's not a sexual thing. Right? It's not eroticized at all. It's just like a charming thing. But for the Western mind, that's not something that we do. We don't have that type of thing. So for somebody that like dives into that culture, the kawaii with the blending of the sexual dimorphism and all of this kind of stuff, it's corruptive to a Western mind, especially a young man, a formative Western mind, anime culture, and too large of doses.
And it's totally unnecessary. And as far as I'm concerned, the entire reason for this is that Westerners we've handed over our not just our animation, just exactly the thing that you and I are railing against, and by making our own books and stuff, right? We've completely handed over our not just animation industry, but sort of fantasy and fascinating pulp in fantasy, science fiction, etc., over to people like the Japanese, because in our own countries we handed over to like women and tunnelers basically to destroy. And they do a shit job, and everything's crap. Like, look at the new Star Wars or any of this crap. It's not just like a bunch of fucking gays and stupid shit. All our comic books, it's all silly, stupid, ruined garbage. So any young person growing up now wants to see something similar, some fantastic story with fantastical settings, fantasy, science fiction, horror. They turn to things like anime, and it's foreign, and it confuses them. It's not homegrown. It's not related to them. We used to do this. Everything anime is inspired by it. We invented the fucking medium of animation.
Yeah.
Let alone these genres I've just mentioned. We did the best of it. We could be doing it now. You and I try to do it ourselves in like homegrown print format. But all these fucking kids are growing up on foreign stuff because we cannot, in the mainstream, produce anything that's not basically two men kissing.
Yeah.
Because everyone's fucking gay, or it's done by these dumb fucking women, or it's managed by money power foreigners, let's say.
Yeah.
Right? Which is the ultimate head of the snake in terms of that.
And people don't realize how subversive. Like, we could talk about the who's, and we could talk about the moneyed, right? This.
Well, we better not, but yeah.
We can. We don't have to say it. You guys know what we're talking about. People don't realize how absolutely subversive like liberal white women are. Like, who needs the moneyed subversion when you have these liberal white women? They're so corrosive and destructive to these art forms. Like, you go and you look at like video games, for example. I can't tell you how many video games I see that come up like on or whatever. I'm like, that looks so gay. And you go look at the team, all liberal white women, one fat Indian girl. That's it. It's like a couple troons, and then the rest are like these like frumpy liberal white women.
And you can't explain it to them because they just get angry. It's a very difficult problem. Even my wife, let's say, like recently, all the Paralympics are on all the time, right? The Paralympics, and obviously they're being like pushed in your face like extra hard, and it's like even more than the Olympics in many ways. And just sort of like, okay, that's fine. It's heartwarming and great or whatever, but what did I say? I made some comment about it because it was everywhere. And right away she's like, oh, if they can't. She really got on her high horse about it, like sort of. I hope she can't hear me. It's great. Shit, probably not. But anyways, that part of it just put a fucking monkey wrench in my rant. But anyways, she was like really angry, like imagine if you were in a wheelchair. What are you going to this kind of shit, right? So it's very hard for them, and it's like, what can I say to combat that? Even as like me, who I have spent hours, like long, more than hours, like days, considering these things and coming up with arguments and that, and I don't even barely know what to say to her. To say, yes, you're right. It's very sad, and it's good to have the wheelchair people doing their thing and the fucking this and that. But like, you're looking at, I can do it now, I guess. I couldn't at the time, but like, it's like your overly compassionate view. You end up putting it in a hierarchy of, and this is what women do when they're involved in comics or pulp animation or any of these things. Really, is they're like, well, why not have the wheelchair person in here, or the the homosexual, or this and that? Why don't we be in? Because they have this. What the best description of how they are to me was given to me by a Nigerian taxi driver who was randomly talking bullshit while he was driving me around here in Ireland. And he was like, women are very soft inside. And I was like, yes, you're right. And that's basically it. And it just overrides somehow so that you wind up, when they're involved in things like this, in this inclusive party of bullshit. I don't know. It's strange. I'm sure you know what I mean.
I know exactly what you mean. That's not to say, like, there have always been like women, like there's like a team, and then there's the token woman that has the stuff. You know what I mean? And there's always been like good women writers, and there's
absolutely
always
been that's true.
Ones.
Yeah.
Literature, women have always had a part in the arts, but that is not the same. That is not the same creature as these like liberal women game developers that slither into these, create these like very gay, stupid games that everybody hates, and then they just get mad that everybody hates it.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah. That's the other thing. You can't explain it to them. You can't even begin. It's so, even everything you just said to you, if you said to her, she would just be like, there's no way to explain to them. All you can do is sort of keep them out of certain things. This is the role of tradition, is to keep people who shouldn't be in certain things out of them, because there's no solution.
Yeah.
They will ruin it. They will ruin it, and they won't notice. They won't give a shit that they've ruined something, like Star Wars or, any of these things. They'll just carry on, and they'll ruin the next thing until you stop them from getting in their claws on it.
Yeah.
And that's all you can do.
And all they do is fail up. They just fail upwards.
Yeah.
I describe them as like a swarm of parasitic insects, right? They find something that's alive, and they burrow in, and they lay their eggs until it's sickly and dying. And then when the carcass, the husk, is completely devoid of all nutrients, they've eaten it all out from the inside, they burst from the carcass as it rots and bakes in the sun to go find a new host. They do it over and over and over and over again, and just destroy everything.
All you can do is stop them. You just have to say, you find a reason. Do not let them be involved in these things. It's very important.
It's like, dude, things like video games and film and stuff are important. Brendan, I loved your series about why sci-fi is important. You're absolutely right. These are very important art forms to us as modern people. You know what I mean? They're meaningful to us. It's not just silly hobby stuff. I hate that. I hate the argument of, oh, fucking everybody that likes science fiction or comic books or whatever is like a Funko Pop dork. I fucking hate that. And speaking of dorks, dude, go look at, like, all you guys listening. I know every single one of you has grown up playing video games and has fallen in love with certain video games or certain films or certain whatever, right? Go look at who made that shit. The guys like, what's his name? Woodhead and Marriott, Lord British. Look at the guys like that John Carmack.
Lord British. Richard Garriott.
That's it. Richard Garriott.
What's he doing these days?
Who knows?
What's he at these days?
He's probably a douche now. I'll be honest with you. He's
probably a liberal douche. Yeah.
He's probably a douche. But go look at the pictures of like him and his team for like the what was this game series called again? Ultima. Look at his team from the Ultima series. It's a bunch of sweaty fucking dorks. It's a bunch of dorks that know too much about computers and too much about fantasy books. Those guys make brilliant games. We want those guys. You know what I mean? I said this. It's like the Star Wars movies. Like, you could go to a sci-fi convention and play fucking pin the tail on the neckbeard, put on a blindfold, and just like throw a dart, and whatever sweaty ponytail fat guy that you hit with that dart is going to write a brilliant sci-fi masterpiece compared to this trash that Disney is putting out. Whatever. Pick whatever sweaty sweat lord neckbeard fucking dork douchebag that hasn't seen a cunt hair since the Clinton administration, right? Find that guy with the ponytail and the fucking obscure movie t-shirt and sweatpants and New Balance sneakers. Find that guy and he will write you a masterpiece compared to, they exist by the thousand. At least they used to, right? The fact that they can't find good writers is like horseshit. They're doing it on purpose. And also, I don't think that they're just doing it on purpose. I also think that they're stupid and they suck. And they actually think that this is good, which is worse. Yeah. Which is worse than doing, because if they're doing it on purpose, that implies that there's some sort of malicious scheme that they know that it's not good. I also think that they think that it's good and that they're doing something meaningful.
Yeah,
which is fucking worse, because you're not a villain, you're just an idiot.
Oh, it's so bad. Yeah, it's so bad.
So bad.
But that's everything we're saying explains the prevalence of anime. We've shit on our own industries after creating them, genres, industries, vocations, and all these realms, and just like put these idiots in charge of them that are just, they will never ever create anything worth listening or watching.
I stumbled upon a thread on Twitter a while back. It was these like old head manga artists in Japanese. You go through, you click translate and read, and I'm reading their whole thread, and every single one of them is lamenting that we don't create that shit anymore. And they're bringing up like old fucking obscure Western tabletop RPGs. They're talking about the old like Dungeons and Dragons art. They're like, remember when we were reading this stuff? Because dude, these guys like Amato and Ieyamatsu. He's a composer, but Ieyamatsu and freaking the dude that did Dragon Ball Z's name's escaping me right now. And he did like a whole bunch. He did like the Dragon Warrior art. Like these guys were so influenced by guys like Frank Frazetta and guys like Boris Vallejo and Clyde Caldwell and Larry Elmore. And
there's old school cartoons. We were talking about like Thundar and Black Star, but there's other ones I can't recall at the moment. And some of them I have not even seen, from the 70s and 80s, produced in America and England. There's one about dragons. What's it called? Oh shit! These were animations, and like each of them totally unique, quite clever. Like not just like little kitty stuff, but like mature.
You're talking Flight of the Dragon? Flight of the Dragon?
Maybe that was it. Yeah. Oh shit! Was that what it was? I don't know. I can't say for sure right now. But like, I still keep hearing and learning about old stuff, pre-90s, let's say. Generally, and stuff that even like obscure ones, and they'll be excellent. They'll be very, very good. And like
Time Masters. You ever see Time Masters?
No, I don't know that one.
It was a French one. It was like in the vein of Gandahar.
Oh, really?
Yeah, shit. Time Masters. Check out Time Masters. Check out.
Okay.
Yeah, there's so many great ones. Obviously, we know Fire and Ice, Gandahar, freaking.
Well, the French ones are something else. The French ones are a whole universe of themselves.
Fantastic Planet.
Yeah, that's a universe of excellence entirely to itself, of like some other fucking thing. I don't know what the fuck that is. Yeah, and I'm just thinking of like the American mainstream stuff from the 70s and 80s. Like it was still fucking, pretty excellent overall.
Yeah, you're talking like Thundar and Black Star and freaking.
There's all kinds of stuff. Like it's just everything pretty much was like not bad. Even like the silly cape shit stuff, like the old Justice League and stuff like that. At least it'd be like, I don't know.
Batman the animated series from the 90s was fantastic.
That was good. Yeah,
fantastic.
There was some effort there. It was like there's some quality to it that cannot be replicated by, frankly. Being the people that we are, we can say this. It requires white men.
It does.
To do it. And nobody else can do it. And it's that simple. And that is the bottom line of it.
Yeah.
As it requires them to do a great many other things. Now we're getting all political and fucking harsh. But
yeah, that's like, there's like, for example, Meta Barons, which was Jodorowsky and Jimenez.
Yeah.
Right.
Excellent.
Dude, you guys, if you are going to read a graphic novel, get Meta Barons the first cycle. This
He
is
did
a
that. That was his response.
masterpiece.
That was his response to losing the Dune contract, was to basically make his own Dune story or whatever. Yeah.
And he did a good job, man. It's probably the best graphic novel I've read a lot. I love graphic novels. I love the old Judge Dredd and like Earth AD.
2000 AD, the old 2000 AD.
That's it.
In
2000
their
AD.
heyday.
Yeah.
Oh fuck! They had so many good stories in there. So
Yeah.
many good characters and stories. Everything was hyper violent, hyper sexualized. Like for a comic, oh shit, it was fucking harsh. It was great.
Fantastic.
Judge Dredd in his concept was not necessarily like a good guy. He was, maybe, I don't know if they were, but it wasn't like they were trying to like make a lame liberal comment on like, oh, he's, autocratic. He's judging everybody and killing them. It wasn't like that. It was
the opposite.
Well, it was both. It was like he was harsh, almost kind of evil, but also you loved him and he was great. He was dispensing justice. Like, what was it? Somebody who was saying this to me, like, you read, there was a certain comic where like he was looking down upon a scene of the city and he saw someone who was happy and like normal and looked fine, and he's like, there's something wrong with that citizen. And like zeroes in on him and goes down and fucking arrests him for something, finds some excuse to arrest him. So he wasn't like it wasn't all whatever. Like that's the kind of guy he was.
Yeah. I love Judge Dredd. I think Judge Dredd is such a brilliant character. I'll tell you what, that last Judge Dredd movie that came out, not the Stallone one, the last one was fucking excellent.
It was good.
It
was good, but I did not like the design of some of the. I didn't like how they changed the design of the bikes. It looked kind of modern and gay. The original bikes were like big, giant fucking Harleys with big fucking.
Yeah.
Yeah,
they made them look kind of like they were designed by Elon Musk or something.
Yeah, or something like it.
Yeah.
But it was good. Overall, it was good and violent and pretty good. Like a classic Judge Dredd story, yeah. Also, I didn't like that his face, he couldn't really do the proper fucking downturned mouth scowl. If Stallone was perfect if he kept the helmet on because no one's ever seen Judge Dredd's face.
Yeah.
He doesn't take his helmet off. If he just kept his helmet on and not be like, oh, I'm Stallone, I must show my face. I laugh when my Italian friends talk about. I heard him once mention the name Sylvester Stallone. They're like, Sylvester Stallone. I was like, well, yeah, you call him that if you want.
I'm a big fan of Sly Stallone. I like.
He's good. Yeah, movies. I showed my kids Rocky recently for the first time. Some of them.
What a great film!
Yeah,
what a great film.
Yeah, for like a total like self-made, low budget thing. Like,
there's a reason Rocky stands in Philly. There's a reason that there is a statue of him. That is a really. Yeah. You didn't know that? There's on the steps to I believe it's the steps to the courthouse in Philadelphia. There's a bronze Rocky statue.
Is there?
Yeah, Rocky is like the icon of Philadelphia.
I also watched First Blood then after that, because after that we watched First Blood, and that's fucking great. I mean, forget the other Rambo shit because it got a bit silly, obviously, right?
Yeah.
First Blood was filmed near where I grew up in British Columbia.
Really?
All that rainforesty, foresty, fucking mountain stuff. Yeah, Hope. It was filmed in Hope, British Columbia, but it's pretty cool, and the music is really good. And it's just like it's not all this because you think of it later like a franchise. And the whole story, Rambo is like this character, this over the top character, but that one's just about like a Vietnam vet getting harassed and he goes fucking crazy. And like as a standalone film, it's much better than anything else after it.
Yeah, he's got a lot. You got Cobra. You got we said
Cobra.
I love Cobra.
It's so good. He never takes off his sunglasses. He wears he's shooting
the whole time.
He's in the dark and he's fucking, shooting people in a shopping mall or something. He's got his sunglasses on. And his toothpick. His toothpick.
You got Demolition Man. You got Cliffhanger. You got
Jesus. I remember that.
Yeah.
You don't get better than Cobra and fucking the original Rambo, though. I don't think.
Nah.
First Blood.
Tango and Cash. Remember that?
And that's pretty good. Yeah, that's pretty good.
I like
good,
that one.
Escape movie. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, I'm a fan.
Tango and Cap.
I like Sly. Sly's good. And he's actually like a brilliant man.
Well, obviously Rocky, just to do Rocky alone, he was like, yeah, he figured all that out on his own. I actually really appreciate the old. I saw an old interview with him talking about how he did Rocky, and I really liked it because, of course, again, just like everything else, it was this unfeminized former world. It was just like the 70s, 80s interview on TV, and he was just very, very upfront and truthful and rational, and like talking about what he was. How he's this guy from New York, and he's like, people think he's kind of I don't know, just very honest and open, and it was excellent the way he described how he made the movie, and you can just tell he's like a smart guy, that because of the way he talks and stuff, he seems like he's like maybe a bit slower or something, right?
Yeah.
And so he's like battled against this his whole life, I guess. Is it because he had a stroke or something? Is that why?
I forget. There is a story. Something happened to him that like gave him that.
But just like there's an honesty to it. If you like, this is another thing I noticed. Like recently, you watch old interviews with even celebrities, like Johnny Carson, some old on YouTube. You can watch some just old Dick Cavett. You can see these interviews with these people, and just the caliber and the quality of the conversation is so much better than you would see now in every imaginable sense, and honest, open and honest, talking about whatever they want, and a realistic view of themselves as well. This is the other thing which we don't seem to have now with mainstream people. Anyways, maybe you and I do, but I hope we do.
It's just all scripted now. There's like somebody was talking about the Conan. I was watching another show. Somebody was talking about Conan O'Brien. And how like everyone thinks he's so witty and everything like that. It's entirely scripted. The audience is cued when to laugh. There's a teleprompter on screen. Nothing is improv. There's nothing honest or sincere about it. It's completely fake. And all of the shows are like that.
He seems really quite annoying and very liberal. Even though some of his jokes are quite good though. But still, I know he is, a bit. I can see that about him.
Yeah, but you mentioned like Johnny Carson and like those guys. Remember, like Dean Martin had a talk show that was just off the cuff. Like they were actually talking, and you got a lot of you had a lot of weird moments, but you also had a lot of candid moments and stuff. And there were guys back in the day, I watched. I think it was Johnny Carson. It was like the best of Rodney Dangerfield on Johnny Carson. Dude, Rodney Dangerfield, this guy was unbelievable. He just had he was just like a stream of jokes. Had all of his jokes memorized and would just go up there and just rattle them off and just be funny on cue. The guys aren't like that anymore. Like modern comedians aren't funny like that anymore. You know what I mean? Like there's some funny guys, but they're very New Yorky and kind of Jewish with how they talk. Even the ones that aren't, like Bill Burr, for example, he's very like, yeah. There's just something about him that isn't. Even though Rodney Dangerfield is Jewish, there's something about he had like a performance about him and had like a, you know what I mean? He was just funny. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I don't know. I don't know.
I like Johnny. I like the old Johnny Carson. He would play the drums. Every now and then he'd talk about his drum playing. He tried to be like the Buddy Rich, and he'd pull out some drumsticks and he'd be like rattling them off his desk and stuff like that. Like I don't know, it was pretty cool. But
these guys were just good.
It's like 1:45 in the morning for me, and I probably should be packing her in pretty quick here.
Yeah, let's wrap it up. So, guys, it's Hearthfire Radio. Go check out. So, Hearthfire Radio. It's me, Golden One, Tom Rousel, the Furigan with Dan Kapp from Volkansman. We got Mimers Bruner. We got a show called Newark Roundtable, which is Mike from Imperium Press with a bunch of his buddies. They do deep dives into literature. There's so much great stuff. There's guys going to be doing. We got cooking shows lined up. We got freaking Mike has a show called Outlander where he goes and explores the Australian wilderness. There's going to be all kind of stuff. And we have big, big visions. We have big dreams for this. We want to, and most importantly, we want to get these guys that make all of this content and have been for so many years that kind of fall off and everything like that. All the shows that we love that do like heathen and pagan content. We want to get them a little bit of money. So it incentivizes them to upgrade and make more and make a living, and not necessarily to like, fill their bank. It's not a get rich quick scheme, but the guys that we love that we have followed and liked for a lot of years that have given everything, we want to incentivize them to continue to do it for as long as possible, because let's face it, a lot of us that do this, dude, this is not a very lucrative career path. Like, I'll be honest with you. And if we can make it so, dude, it's horseshit that idiots like Ben Shapiro are making millions and millions, and then awesome got millions and millions, and awesome guys like Marcus Folan and Tom Rousel and myself, and not to toot my own horn, but guys that have been doing this for like a decade or more, with just to do it because we love it and we love our people and we love our mission. Let's get these guys a little bit of money. Let's take care of them because they've been taking care of us for a long time. But it's not just about that. We want to create a media epicenter for pagans, because let's talk about it, right? Poetry, art, entertainment, theater, music, all of it, all of everything that makes the West beautiful started from pagan beginnings. We invented poetry, music, all of this. And every time that it comes back around in romantic movements, the Renaissance and everything is bringing back that pagan spirit. Even if you're a Christian and you're listening, the spirit of who you are, you're being European, is a pagan spirit. And that's a beautiful thing. And we want to bring it back. And we want to fund movies, we want to fund music, we want to build something that stands for a long time and has the power to do the things that like gay Daily Wire does. So go get signed up. Dude, it's horse shit that douchebags from Daily Wire are bankrolling these shitty bow tie conservative movies that suck. Dude, imagine Big Dave and Brendan Hearn writing movies. Imagine if we were put in charge of writing movies and we had that kind of money, that kind of funding.
You see the most amazing fucking thing that you would see the step up in evolution from the type of things we've been talking about. You would see the true inheritance, and you would see something that would blow your mind, probably.
Let us blow your mind. Yeah.
Yeah.
So, yeah, exactly. And long story short, Hearthfire Radio, it's starting very humble. We're just doing all of our favorite podcasts. It's a wonderful lineup, a lot of great stuff. We're working really hard. It took us like a year and a half to get this together, but it's finally together. Go over there, get signed up. I think it's only like $12 a month or something like that. It's cheaper than like a pizza dinner. It's cheaper than Netflix. You know what I mean?
Cheaper than pizza.
I love pizza. I can't get away from pizza. But anyway, I had pizza last night, by the way. But anyway, yeah. So get Hearthfire Radio, guys. Go get signed up. You're gonna love it. We have so much big stuff planned, but we have to get to, in order for us to take care of everybody and make the thing solvent and keep it moving and get going and hit the launch. We need a fair amount more subs. So we have a goal that we want to hit in 90 days. We have to hit so many subs in order to make the thing fly. If it flies, we're off to the races, guys. I promise you that we will make great things. And in 4, 5, 6, dude, look at what we've been able to do so far. Like, just me. We're all teaming up. We got so many guys that we want to bring in and do more. I'm not going to keep yakking, but Hearthfire Radio, go get signed up. Check it out. I promise you're going to love it. It's just great stuff. So go over there and check it out. And thank you, Mr. Brendan, for letting me come on. And dude, I love getting on talk. You're one of my favorite people. You've been a very influential individual in me and my way of thinking in regards to art and worldview and stuff like this. your work for a long time has been so wonderful. You know, the Fall of Western Art is a book that turned my head upside down. It's one of those books you can't unread. Aegeon Sci-Fi has been just tremendous. Everything. I love everything that you do, and you've been just a freaking paragon fighting the good fight for beauty and weirdness and art for many years. So I appreciate you. I look up to
thanks,
you.
David. Thank you. Thank you very much.
And
you too.
We all love you, and thank you so much for having me on. Let me come on and yak on your show.
Oh, well, thanks. Thanks very much. And same to you. Yes. So we're going to end it now. I'm going to go inside and remember that as I started the stream, there's only one God, and Dave Mart-el is his prophet.